feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. When I look behind, it's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness is your friend. You get me in the end. At the end. Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness is your friend. You get me in the end.
What's going on, guys? Wasn't planning on going live tonight. My schedule freed up. And I figured, why not? Right? Twitter's been ablaze. You guys just got done watching Matty Hayes. Nuno Espirito Santo. Welcome to Tottenham Hotspur. I have thrown the link and pinned it to the top of the chat. If you want to join me and talk about this new appointment, you are willing and able, please do so. Also, too, if you are new to the channel. Make sure that you go ahead and like the stream. Drop a like on it. It really helps us out. It's the biggest way to support the channel. And 73 days. What are your thoughts? He's magic, Nuno Espirito Santo. Doesn't quite have the ring. Right? But like AK Gaming says, he's happy. There are a lot of people that aren't happy, man. There are a lot of people that aren't happy. If you are not happy, go ahead and click that link pinned to the top of the chat and come on and tell us why you're not happy. Let's talk about it. Right? I won't berate you, I promise. In fact, now that it's actually happened, there's no reason for me to even, be all that stuff. Perfect 81. This is a clear indication that Paratici is having the major influence on footballing matters. It can only be a good thing. Look, man, I don't disagree with you. 100%. Gonna be a good thing. Our summer transfer market finally opened. That is true. There are a lot of big news and rumors about that particular topic as well. Just run through a couple of the different, things that have been talked about today as far as, signings are concerned. Now we can actually start talking about them and I don't feel like a clown. So it says that we're in man, I'm gonna mispronounce this guy's name. But we're in talks with Florentino over signing striker Vlahovic. We've also renewed our interest in signing the Norwich City right back Max Aarons. Sporting Lisbon have told THFC that midfielder João Palhinha will now cost way over 30 million euro. In talks with Jacqueline Correa. Leon Skriniar. We're back in for Skriniar. Who else? Bologna defender Takehiro Tamiyasu is the club plans to close his signing in the next few days. So that looks like it's actually happening. Those are all the latest rumors that have been associated with us over the last 14 hours. I haven't slept, man. I got like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. Up late last night. News started breaking early this morning for me. And I got up. I recorded that video that I did earlier today. Scheduled it to go live. Went and took a little bit of a nap. About 3 hours. And I'm back. Crazy, crazy, crazy times. Man, there must be a lot of people who are upset, though. I'd really like to know why. I don't. I'd love for someone to come and tell me why this is a bad idea. So, a lot of people must be busy tonight too. I'm glad I never have to see that again. Glad I never have to see that again. To be fair, and at last, some positivity. That's right, James Paul. Dan Nan says he's underwhelmed, but he's not fuming. Just hope he can play more progressively than he did at Wolves last season. Well, I would hope so. Better than last season. You know, who knows? With the right signings, maybe we can see him, with 99 points and 46 plus goal differential. Goal differential. How awesome would that be? Not going to happen, but Chris Agbar says if it works out, we can sing his magic Nuno. Yeah, look, man, I am optimistic. I really am. I mean, not my first choice by far, right? Not my first choice by far. But definitely something that isn't horrible. That's for sure. But what can we say? What can we say? See who else is up in here. Big up Will, Chris. What's going on, man? We've been saved from Brian Mason press conferences. Exactly. On a side note, Nuno kind of sounds like if Pedro Pascal. That's right. The bald and bearded Tottenham Boys show has just gotten that much better. We now have a new member to the show. I'm gonna have to get Stella on that show, Bob. We're gonna have to get Stella on that show now. Stelios doesn't seem very happy. You know what I mean? Big up Bob Spur. Yes, Bob, and I hope you're feeling better, man. I hope you're feeling good, crisp and clean and healthy. I mean, I'm sure you're not feeling as fit as a fiddle, but I'm sure that you hopefully you're doing a lot better. Well, let's add my homeland brother from another mother. What's going on, Ginger?
I don't know, man. I'm in two minds with this appointment. I don't know how you feel. Obviously, you're a fan of Nuno, but like now that it's done, what do you feel about it all in context? Picture.
I would say that I'm a little bit happy. You know what I mean? A little bit giddy, but also still, because it's Daniel Levy that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I don't want to put the cart before the horse. That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. See, because the fact is that like it's almost like a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because like he's appointed, you obviously want the club to do well, but if the club does well, then you're going to get less people going to be at the NFL protests, So you're almost kind of like wanting them to suck for the first few months, and then get the pressure on Daniel Levy or whatnot, and then you can do well. That's what it feels like, man. But it just feels like a horrible way to like be thinking about the new manager.
No, I mean, because look, I hear what you're saying. I hear that you're saying that this is going to be difficult for the fence setters.
Yeah.
But here's the problem: I mean, you can even tell right now. Like I'm looking here. I mean, Chris Cowan's live now, so that could be one reason. He's only got like 900 viewers live. We're sitting at around 60, right? Which isn't bad for us starting off, But normally this time of night it could be upwards of 300-400. I think a lot of people are upset about this. I think more people are upset about this than not. So from that standpoint, could this push more people negative, to the leave you out movement? I'm excited about it from a club perspective.
Yeah.
But this doesn't change my views on ENIC or Levy at all, right? Daniel Levy gets zero credit for this. And here's another person who has rational and reasonable views, Mr. Brian Ireland.
What's up, lads? How you doing? What's happening?
Not much, man.
How you guys all feeling about the situation? Sorry, I just got to get some lighting on here. I forgot to turn it on. So everybody can see my beautiful face.
Turn it back off. No.
Yeah. Oh man, you know what? I guess you guys probably already talked about this. I just saw the link. I don't know how long you've been chatting, but I think it's a relief more than anything at this point, which is a bit sad, in that we got to that point where appointing a manager 70 days post our last one became more of a relief than joy. But I am excited as well. Like, I do think like he's going to bring something to the squad. He's got experience. I wish that he was on our radar and it was like something they wanted rather than something they had to do. That's the thing I'm a little bit concerned about.
Well, I mean, how long into the manager search did Paratici get appointed?
How did Paratici get appointed?
No, how long into the manager search did he actually get appointed? Like, did the rumors,
about a month ago, I think.
Yeah, it was about 30 days ago, I think.
I think officially it might have been. I want to say it was June 17th, but my memory is not 100%. Yeah,
so that's only 2 weeks. That's not even 2 weeks. Well, it's nice. It'll be 3 weeks tomorrow.
3 weeks about. Yeah, I think that's about right. It's just so much has happened in such a short period of time.
So I mean, if it's like
official, like that's when the club actually came out and announced it.
Yeah,
he had been tied with it for probably 2 weeks before that.
Have they even officially announced it yet? I thought it was like he starts work on July 1st.
Well, no, they officially announced it that he would be, and that he would start from July 1st because he had a contract. His contract, he was still getting paid by Juventus until the end of June. So of course, Levy doesn't want to have to pay his salary for
Stepping on toes and whatnot, right?
Yeah, we'll just say you start. You can start now, but we'll say you start on the 1st, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, as I'm saying, like how we've been 2 months and a bit into this, the fact that like Paratici was only been a month, and apparently he's a fan of Nuno, but we weren't like looking at Nuno. It kinda, I don't know, mate. If you actually like, I feel maybe if you look at it, it doesn't look as bad as it feels like it is, because we've obviously been through so many managers. But the fact that this is Paratici's like came in, this is actually only his third choice. And one was because the big massive fan revolt, and then the other one was, I don't know, some weird. I don't know what happened with Fonseca. So even though it's our 10th or 9th choice, it's actually only his third.
Yeah, and let's be real about many of the rumors. I think most people would agree that much of it is paper talk. It's not necessarily stuff that we should be. Oh, the Gattuso thing. I have a hard time thinking that was a legitimate. Like they were at, and maybe they called him up and said, "Hey, are you available?" But I don't think there was like the talks are ongoing and he's almost got the job. The way that the media makes it much more than it is. I think probably from a serious perspective, there's probably about 3 or 4 managers, which is still quite a bit when you think about it. Usually when a club decides they're going to change their manager, they know who they're going to at least have on a short list and offer them something. So it still has been a mess. It's just not been as much of a mess as what we see in the media. But yeah, I'm just elated that before the preseason starts, there's going to be a manager in place who has an idea of what he wants to do.
Yeah, and for me, like we got a question here. Like Steve says, I can tell you. And Steve, thanks for watching the show. We love you. He's not happy with the selection. He says, "You're all happy with Nuno. If Nuno finishes lower than 10th, will you be happy?"
Of course not.
No, I won't. And it also depends on what else happens this summer, right? If we go in and we sign 2 new center backs, like we signed that Japanese guy, and we sign another, regardless of who it is, sign another center back that replaces some of the deadwood spots in our back line. And say we go in for, looks like we're looking at a couple right forwards, like I was calling out before. We were going for Korea and a couple other people that guys starts with that guy that only Jack could be able to pronounce his last name. Vlahanic or whatever it is. So if we were to sign him and then we finish 10th, yeah. And I look at the team selection and Harry Winks is in the starting lineup every week. And I'm going to be very angry, right? Like I said in my earlier video today, which was recorded at like 7:00 this morning, my time. So, forgive that it only came out 5 or 6 hours ago, but I just scheduled it for the prime time in the UK, right? So, but yeah, I'm going to hold him accountable. Just because I'm happy about the selection doesn't mean that he gets a free pass with me. I am not, anybody who watches this channel knows I'm not a blind follower of someone just to follow someone, right? First month in and he's making horrible choices and it's looking horrible, I'm going to be calling him out just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Before we rock into more of that conversation, I got to bring this guy in right away, just to make sure that everything is okay. Not that guy. He popped in on his own. Welcome, Mr. K.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
What's up, Mr. K? Bobby's here too.
Hello, Bob. How you doing, Dawn?
This is killing me. I've not been able to speak to anyone about this, and it's killing me. So forgive me. I'm only going to be on for about 5 minutes, guys. But I just need
get
to
it off your chest, Bobby. Get it off your chest.
Yeah. Just like Will, it's maybe we were all willing to welcome in Fonseca, weren't we? And Nuno, I believe, is a step up from Fonseca. The only thing that worries me about Nuno is if he wants to come in and do the whole clean slate thing, and give Winks a chance and Sissoko a chance and everyone. That's the only thing. But I suppose that falls on Paratici, doesn't it? So I'm not sure.
Yeah, the clear out still has to happen in the and it may not be as massive as we all want, but if the right moves are made to start off, and then the right players are brought in to replace the players that we need, like that right-sided forward, which is Bale's not coming back with that's obvious. Lamella's on his last legs. He plays in that position. Bergwijn plays usually on the left-hand side, but can play on the right. But that's a position we need somebody to fill. If Paratici and Nuno identify that position and find the right player to come in and do it, okay, that's a good start. You guys it looks like they're doing the right things. And if those things happen throughout the season and we improve as far as the type of football we played last season and we get better as a squad, as a club, and we start to look like there's some which he said in his interview or his statement is that they look like they want to play together. There's a unity within the squad. I'm not expecting a ton, but I'm expecting to fix many of those small little problems that make us
progression.
Make us a little bit like something to believe in again, because that we had that with Poch, and when that went away, it was just all downhill. So we need to get back to sort of that we're all Spurs together. We're all trying to get through this, and the manager gets that and understands how to get us there.
Definitely, 100%.
I mean, it looks like from his interview, the little clip that he did for 12 seconds, that was the one thing that he pointed out, which was making us feel proud again.
Yeah.
It's
got the full version out now.
Great again. I mean, great comes later, but pride comes first. The only problem I see is that, look, Spurs fans, is that no matter how good Paratici is, he may not be able to get at some of the players that kind of really rile us up. So
it's not going to be easy. It's not going
to be easy. So Nuno's going to have to put them in the team. He doesn't have a choice. Right, so when he does that, we're going to get on his back. Right?
I think this is a key thing, Mr. K, that you're talking about. We as a fan base have to have some patience with what has been set up here. You don't just going from managing a club a certain way, bringing in a director of football or whatever we want to call it, and a new manager, and then expect it to work immediately. We already tried to do the Band-Aid practice with bringing Mourinho in, despite the squad rebuild needing to happen. That squad rebuild hasn't happened. It still needs to happen. So we've got it now. We've got an opportunity with a director of football and with a new manager to start that process. That might mean that Pochettino comes back in 2 years when his contract is up at PSG. But it's starting. This process is starting. We're going to have to be patient, and that's going to suck. And I know they're just going to half the fans aren't going to be, but it's reality.
Do you think that it's his make or break is going to be the recruitment coming in once we sell Kane? Because if you look at the players, when we sold Bale and when that was reinvested.
Do you mean this? Do you mean this summer, GT? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So because obviously, I think
because I don't think he's going this summer still. But
do you not? No, okay.
I don't.
Well, if he pushes it, because we're not too sure. Like he's just concentrating on Euro. Maybe after Euro, if he pushes it or not. But let's just say he has to.
Tinty, when Jose came in, right? Yeah, what's the first thing he said? Listen, this team's full of good boys, and the number one good boy in the group was who? Kane.
Right. But he's already had that.
So I don't think he's that type of character. No, but what I'm saying is he's not that type of character where, he loves the club and he understands and he's compassionate towards the fans' feelings as well.
Well, he's done everything but put in a transfer request.
I think, but if you look at, for example, Eriksen, if you look at Bale, look at Modric, when they wanted to get out, they weren't fans of the club as in boyhood fans. This guy is. If Levy spins him a line, then
I think he did that last
Kane
season.
we're talking about here.
I think Will's mentioned it before. It's going to be down to which players we'll bring in.
Yeah,
that's going to convince Harry Kane more than anything. If talks of Skriniar all of a sudden, if the likes of Skriniar are coming our way, and remember his agent as well. He's got the great Mendes with him. And if there's anyone we like him or hate him, but if Mendes wants someone to go somewhere, he will do it. He will make it happen.
I just don't think. I don't think City are going to pay the money. It's not going to be 100 million. He's not going to sell him for 100 million. It's
I don't think he'll go.
It's 150 million. And I don't. When is the last time City paid over 100 mil? I think over 80.
Laporte said
not just the players though.
70, 75 is the most they've ever paid. Maybe 80 for a player.
Right,
never played over 100 million.
Laporte is apparently not happy with his stuff though. So 100 plus Laporte.
Alex,
hold
on a second, Alex. If you want to jump on, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. You're welcome to jump in. I think a lot of folks would like to hear your thoughts on the appointment. So if you're free, lad, the link is pinned to the top.
Yeah. Well, now I can just say what my original point was, man. So say if Bale, see how he reinvests Kane's money. If you actually look at the players that we bought in, mate, I think Christian Eriksen was the only standout one. There was Roberto Soldado, Nasser Chadli, Paulinho.
Lamella's still with us.
Lamella's the only other one that's still with us because Etienne Capoue was the other one, Roberto Soldado. So the recruitment is gone. So if he sells Bale, he sells Kane for 100 million, and I think the players that I'd want are the ones that were the replacement, the Vlahovic. I looked him up. He looks very good, and I really would like that look at that front Kessié. I don't know if you've seen.
Do you think though, if we spend if City come in and they say we're going to spend 150 mil, which I think is going to be Levy's minimum, he's not going to sell him for less than that, unless there's like a Laporte, which would be a wonderful player to come in. Laporte would be great, but it's going to be, again, they're not going to just take that 150 million or whatever it is that we get and buy a bunch of players again. That it won't happen, especially with what happened with the last time it happened, and especially in the circumstances we're in with the debt we have and the market and where the market's at. I just can't see him just splashing cash all of a sudden. Oh, we got to fill all these positions and not really just take the time to do it. And that is going to be over 2 or 3 seasons, not over one summer, when we haven't even had a manager up until today. So it's just it ain't going to happen quickly,
guys. If it was just down to the signings, then Kane would go 100% because that's just not going to be pleasing enough.
Yeah, I agree there.
I'm saying, but what I'm thinking here for you guys is that because the infrastructure is changing, we're getting a director of football in. That's a change. We've got a new manager coming in. That's a change. It can convince Kane that if the infrastructure is being changed, then the players will start to naturally create a new squad. So I think that project in itself may excite Kane enough for him to think, well, you know what, maybe I can do it here.
But I think he needs to see it, Mr. K. I think he needs to see it rather than because he's probably had the chit chat for the last.
He's been told this for 3 or 4 seasons. When he signed the 6-year deal,
he needs to physically see it. I think he physically needs to see it.
Isn't Paratici one signed? Because Paratici was the main man at Juventus.
Yeah,
and that's quite a strong team.
I mean, Mourinho. I'm not saying if you don't hate his football, whatever, but stature wise, Mourinho, and he played well, and he loved Mourinho. Now we're talking, a prodigy of Mourinho from Porto days, and a much lower ranked class of manager in the eyes of people like trophies and prestige. So, do you know what I mean? does he go, yeah, okay, or I'm just going to head off to Man City and actually win stuff in my career, because now he is getting into his prime.
I mean, does he really have a choice, though? Does he really have a choice?
He doesn't to some extent. I mean, he could throw the toys out the pram, and he could pull a, I'm going to sit on the bench, and it's just not, that's just not his character. It's not what he's going to do. He's going to probably say, look, I signed a 6-year deal. We made an agreement, or what was it, a handshake agreement that he said that they had made, that if the club wasn't going had the same ambition that he had, then he was going to ask to leave. And that's clearly been the case, but of course there's been extenuating circumstances with the pandemic and with everything else that's gone on, and the amount of football everybody's played, and the market, the situation they're in. It isn't as simple as Kane saying he wants to go and he's going to go. I get that it will probably happen eventually. I don't think it's going to happen this summer. I think that he stays this summer no matter who's manager, and maybe he doesn't have the best season in the world, and that would suck for him and for the club. But I just don't see the club spending putting the energy into trying to deal with that situation, and then trying to rebuild the club in the amount of time we have. He's a Spurs player starting the season for sure, 100%. Maybe in January if they can get through to that point, but I don't.
Yeah, I got to grab the super chat from Mark here before it becomes.
I was rambling.
too irrelevant here. Mark with £5 says, "Come on, guys, let's unite now. It's been the summer of hell. 2 years actually. We need to get behind Nuno now." And I think we can all get behind Nuno. It doesn't necessarily. You can get behind him and not be happy. You know what I mean? So even for the folks that aren't happy, you're fine. You're fine with having your opinion on the appointment. Nobody's asking you to be a Nuno fan. You know what I mean? No one's asking you to do that. But once the first whistle blows of that first Premier League match, look, it's not Ryan Mason, so we can all be happy about that, right?
Bobby still might Mason in, so I don't know.
Ryan Mason. Before I go, I just want to say thanks, guys, for all your kind messages and everyone. And what we're going to hopefully get with Nuno is what we haven't had certainly under Jose or Ryan Mason, is a bit of an identity. He loves a back three. We know he wants to play attacking fullbacks. We know the Nuno style, certainly the first 3 years, 1 in the Championship and 2 in the Premier League. We know the way he likes to play. Yeah, last season was a bit of a fuck up, but he did have a lot of injuries.
Players love him too, Bobby. Players love him. He's well liked in the dressing room. That's a big deal, especially in the fracturing that's going on in our club at the moment.
Yeah. It looks passionate. Unifier. It looks emotional. So I'm right behind him, and we'll see how it goes. But big up. Thanks for letting me on, mate.
Be well, Bobby.
Get well soon, mate. Get well soon.
Cheers, buddy. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Get well, man. Be safe.
Cheers, mate.
And for anybody else who wants to join the stream, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. You're welcome to jump on here to talk about the appointment. I normally have, my schedule's normally busy on this day at this time, but it cleared up. So I figured we'd jump on and let people talk, because I could see from Twitter and my YouTube community feed that some people were not happy, some people are very happy. And also too, if this is your first time watching the show, make sure you hit that like button, at the very least. Subscribe if you don't think we're all crazy, and throw in a nice comment if you would like to support the channel monetarily. But Mr. Ian, LA Ian, what's going on, my man?
What's up, everybody?
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Just got home from the gym, took a shower, and I saw the announcement, the Twitter notification, and I mean, I'm pretty happy about it. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, we got our answer when we were trying to appoint Conte, that this board, this upper management, they have no ambition. He was too ambitious for us. So at that point, in my mind, any manager will do, because we got our answer with Conte when we didn't want to hire him. So I'm all behind Nuno. I would love for him to succeed, and think it's what we all want from him.
Yeah, I think it's. Sorry, go ahead with this.
Yeah, let's just grab this before we jump in there. Yep. Mark says, to be fair to know, we didn't know who Pochettino was before he came either, which is kind of true.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that. I was saying that about Potter as well, and I know that there's a controversy with him as well. But I would put Potter and Nuno in the same category, in that they were both managers that have managed in the Premier League had pretty good, considering the club that they're managing at, no disrespect to Southampton and Wolves, but they both did a good job coming into the Premier League with clubs that were kind of mid-table teams, and ended up getting Wolves to 7th twice in a row, which was impressive as hell. I thought what he was able to do with Wolves his first 2 seasons in the Premier League. I mean, it was incredible. They kicked our ass on a few occasions comfortably when we played against them. So, and that was tactics from Nuno, and the players obviously that they brought in the second season helped them quite a bit as well. But I think we have to just be realistic about who we are, where we are as a club. And that's what I had said about Potter. And that's what I would say about Nuno, is that we've got a manager here who knows how to manage in the Premier League, who's done well against some of the biggest teams in the Premier League, has beaten the likes of Man United, Arsenal, Spurs. He's beaten these teams at their own ground. Yeah. So like, again, this isn't he's going to save us from being mid-table or anything. I mean, it's possible it could go either way, but he's a good manager. He knows what he's doing in the best league in the world, and he's been in it for 3 seasons, and managed at the highest level other than last season, which he went through some pretty rough things as far as the squad was concerned. So I don't think it's a terrible position, a terrible manager to bring in, but I do think we'll just have to wait and see, and at least get behind him and support him and try to make his life as easy as possible dealing with what he's going to have to deal with. It's going to be difficult, really difficult to get through the squad that we have and the situation that we're in with that squad.
Is anyone else silly excited like I am?
I'm
predicting 11 points in the first 6 games.
Already. People not tell that I'm happy.
Man City 4-1. We're going to beat them.
I've kind of been floating around all day as like, hey, I told you so.
Mr. K, check with Stell, see how he's doing.
He didn't seem like he was very happy about it. And then I hate Marmite too. I know for a fact that he's been very public about not liking Nuno as well, and Levy and the board have created so much toxicity that even if we back Nuno, there will be a toxic atmosphere in France. That's okay if it's pointed at Levy.
Yeah,
I don't mind. I don't mind. Look, just because Nuno Espirito Santo is a manager that I felt was a better choice than Graham Potter or Scott Parker or Klinsmann, doesn't mean that my vitriol or anger towards Daniel Levy and Enoch disappears. Right? I'm not that type of a person, right? I can be happy about A and still be pissed off.
Exactly.
I really hope the planned protests for the NFL games, all the stuff still goes through, even though we finally got a manager, we finally got a director of football. I still hope all those protests that were scheduled or talked about on Twitter at least go through, because we're in a better place, but everyone here knows that we're not in a good place. So we got to keep that pressure on the upper management. Have to.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think, ma'am?
Well, do you know, as you were saying last time, right? Well, we've scraped the bottom of the barrel, but he's the top manager at the bottom of that barrel, isn't he? Really, to be fair. Look, none of us are going to be happy, but we just have to back him now. I've seen a lot of Nuno out already now. To be honest with you, it's pathetic.
Yeah, he hasn't even done anything but hold up a shirt yet. So to be out, I think is totally unfair.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I mean. Like,
there was Jose outers from day one as well, but with Jose, it made sense because of the way he left Man United and the toxicity that already surrounds Jose Mourinho anyway. I would say that's even more justified. While unfair as it is, to do it on Nuno is ridiculous. But go ahead, Chris.
It's like, for me, right? Okay, I wasn't particularly overjoyed with Nuno's announcement tonight, but still, because we love the club, just get behind him and back him. Simple, really, isn't it?
100%.
It sounds
at the end of the day, he's got a lovely beard. I love his beard. Looks like mine.
Yeah. My one's coming on nicely now as well, Mr. K, you know?
Now I'm going to have to dye my beard gray.
I just shaved mine. I couldn't deal with it. It's fucking annoying. I got patches, though.
I just waited 30 years. Mine went grey by itself.
But as I said, I'm not particularly overjoyed that it's Nuno. I would have rather Conte or Ten Hag or someone like that. But that realistically was never going to happen.
Yeah, it's underwhelming, but it's not terrible. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think if the club came out and said, you know what, we want Nuno Espirito Santo, he's available, he's going to play the type of football we want to play, and here's our plan with him, and here's why we want to do it. We're going to bring in Paratici as the director of football. He wants Espirito Santo as his manager. We're going to combine those two, and this is what we want to build, and here's why, and show a plan. None of us would have complained about it. It really comes down to how the whole debacle just fell to pieces when all these different managers who didn't fit the sort of whatever it was that Levy had written, his Twitter post or whatever it was that he had said, like, this is where we want to get back to playing Spurs football, blah, 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 all this sort of typical nonsense that was coming out of his mouth during all this. If he hadn't done that and he had been quiet and then came up with a plan and said, this is the plan for Tottenham Hotspur, this is what we're going to do, and here's why, despite us probably not being happy about the situation, being disappointed with it being underwhelming, I don't think it would have been nearly as messy as it's been in the last 70 days. I think we would have been like underwhelming, but we would have been planning for it. We would have been dealing with transfers already. There would have been players coming in and out. This is the biggest issue, is that preseason starts next week and nothing's been done when it comes to managing the club on the pitch. That's the biggest issue, and that's where I was just freaking out. So have a plan, do that plan, even if we don't like it, and then follow through with it. At least it shows that you've got some sort of sense of understanding of what you want to do with the club. Otherwise, we look like idiots, which is essentially what ended up happening.
Yeah, and Messi, I have no idea who that person is, so I'll have to look him up and research him.
Italian player. I don't know, man. Leicester City and are after him, and apparently they're asking for like 35 million for him. So will we actually pay that for him?
Probably not.
Jason Gross is here in with a 5 Canadian dollars. He says, at this point, our feelings don't matter. We just need to back the new manager. I don't necessarily think that our feelings don't matter. Like, I think your feelings, your opinions, your view, it matters to you. Right? It may not matter to someone else, but it matters to you. And I think it's okay. It's okay for you to still be upset and still, give him a shot, right? It's called being reasonable, being logical and rational in your mind, right? If you're having a bias against him that is irrational and unreasonable, you're just that's ignorant.
It's just a weak position. You're just not really coming from a place of evidence, and it's useless. You're not really offering anything.
I don't know.
I hope
is it just a gut feeling and a belief?
Not any type of like
gut feeling and belief. It's like some people have that feeling and superstition. No, but fans do have that though. Will Island, people have this. They don't necessarily have the thinking power, but they have the gut feeling power, and they feel sometimes they're scared sometimes that if we start jinxing things, bad things will happen.
But if it makes
most of this comes out of the trauma that we had for the last few years.
Yeah, and if that makes people feel better, go for it. But it isn't useful when it comes to determining whether a manager appointment is going to be good or not. You have to look at the data. You have to look at like where he's been before, what has happened, what have we seen before, and why do we have a position? What is our position based on? Is it reasonable, or is it
us twice shy?
Yeah, sure. So
it's based on that. It's based on twice bitten.
I know. I get that, and that's fine. That's fine, Mr. K. You're allowed to be skeptical about the situation. I have no problem with being skeptical. It's just what's the skepticism based in? I feel for him too, but like it isn't. And I've struggled.
The thing is, the difference is, Brian, is I'm supportive of them. You're dismissing it.
I'm not dismissing it. How am I dismissing it? I'm literally.
You're saying it's illogical. It has no benefit.
I didn't say it has benefit. I didn't say that at all. I literally said, Mr. K, don't put words in my mouth. I literally said, I do see that it's beneficial to some people and they're welcome to it, is exactly what I said. I just don't think that it's useful when it comes to determining, and this is what I said, whether or not a player or a manager is going to be successful in their job. I get why people do it. Everybody does it. I've done it my whole life. I do it on the football pitch. I'm a very reasonable, logical person, but I still put the same shoe on the same foot first each time because I feel like it's the right thing to do. It doesn't necessarily make it useful, but it makes me feel good about what I'm going to do when I go on the pitch. So I know why people do it. I just think when we're evaluating a player or a manager in this situation, it isn't going to tell us anything about the manager. It isn't going to give you. It's only going to give you solace in the pain you feel or the pain you felt over the last 70 days of trying to figure out what's going on with our club. I get why people do it. I don't necessarily think it's useful to determine the value of something.
I'm just thinking, poor Stelios, right? Yeah, is out there and he's probably feeling hurt right now, and everyone else is feeling a little bit delighted or a little bit relieved. And I'm wondering, like, what's making him feel that way? Whatever it is, there's got to be some history there between him and his knowledge of the club, and that's making him feel like that. I want him to come over here and cheer up. Me, I'm really happy. You know, I think we're going to beat City 4-1.
That's because you're a really empathetic person. You're a really empathetic person,
exactly.
and the problem is that sometimes emotion. There are two types of people. There are rational, logical-minded people, and there are emotionally-minded people. And being an emotional person isn't a bad thing. For crying out loud, if everybody was rational, logical personality types, the world would be a very boring and dry.
We'd be
place,
Vulcans.
right?
We'd be Vulcans.
It would be Vulcans, right? So having that type of a feeling and a concern for other people is okay, but the problem with emotional people is sometimes that they can use this instead of this.
It clouds the judgment.
They need the other half of the spectrum to bring them back into reality, because a lot of times emotional people are good listeners, like you are, and they're able to really listen to what a more, I guess you could say, rational and down to earth person is. And being irrational isn't a bad thing. Everyone is irrational at moments, right? When you're angry, when you're sad, when you're doing, all people are irrational. But all my point is saying is that if you feel bad, if you're angry about this, be angry about it. It's okay to be angry, but it is irrational to have a bias against Nuno Espirito Santo.
Based on that emotion that isn't on that emotion. It's not grounded in reason.
I think that emotion is disappointment, because you're looking at that manager coming in and you're saying, "Oh no, why are we getting happy for that manager to come in?" The expectation, it may be higher than what we're seeing.
Yeah,
and I think that's reasonable. I think that's slightly. We've got to look at our team ending up in 7th. We've got to look at our expectation from there. To tell you the truth, I think we're going for top 4, not trying to win anything. Yeah, but I think that's what should be our expectation. But Danny over here, he can tell me about expectations.
Danny boy, the Bunster. What's up, buddy?
How's everyone doing?
You in a while, Danny. What have you been doing?
Yeah, mate, I'm not going to come on too long. I've got to get back to revising. My test is in 2 weeks' time, so my exam. So I need to just smash it, and then I can focus on other shit again, basically. But yeah, how's everyone been? Everyone all right?
Yeah, good. We're just sort of discussing philosophy and Tottenham Hotspur in one topic. Welcome to the show. It's pretty exciting stuff.
As it always is.
Danny, are you delighted?
Get a boring day, right, with Tottenham?
Yeah.
What do I think of him?
What do you think of the appointment? Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Are you sort of like, a little bit underwhelmed, but going to accept it and recognize that we didn't really have many other options because we completely botched it, which is probably the case.
Yeah, I'm going to try to sum up like how I feel and how I think maybe a lot of fans might feel. For me, I think it's very underwhelming, right? It's underwhelming because of what's gone on with the situation with the managers, and it's been like over 2 months and we still haven't got a manager. We still hadn't had a manager. All the names that we've been mentioned and talked about, and Daniel Levy, just money issues of not getting the people who we should be getting and stuff like that. And it's gone to a point where it's now, for me, it's like they've kind of don't know what they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what angle they were going to go for. Every single manager they tried, they couldn't get, and they had to just get someone in now. And at this point, you just take anyone because of the expectation they've lowered for everyone. So for me, it's good in the sense that we have got a manager that's proven in the Premier League that he's done well. Look, we're all going to get behind him because we support the club. We love Tottenham Hotspur, so no matter what, we're going to get behind him, right? But of course, it's not what everyone probably wanted. He could work miracles, but again, for me, I'm gonna enjoy seeing what's happening. It's probably not gonna be what I think's gonna happen or what we all want it to happen, should I say? Actually, I think it's not gonna end as good as people might expect. We could be wrong. We get another miracle like Poch, but for me, I think the key thing here is getting rid of those deadwood. If they stay, we're fucked. If they don't stay, then we've got a great chance of having a complete different season than we all expect. And it all depends on the type of player they get in, because they need people that are going to want to play for the badge and have a bit of determination about them. Look,
Danny, quickly to interrupt you. I spoke about this earlier, and I do think that isn't going to happen this season. We're not.
Yeah, no. So we're fucked. Yeah.
So we're fucked this season. No, we are though. We're fucked this season. This season,
our chance of getting the dead one was gone when Mourinho went. 100%.
Yeah, and also
Mourinho knew he needed to go,
but also not bringing the man. Well, it happened when Poch left. Let's be honest. Poch is the one who said, "Let's do the rebuild" two fucking years ago.
Yeah,
that's the reality. Is the rebuild has to happen. The rebuild is not going to happen over the next month and a half before the season starts.
I really hope
it's not even a month. It's a month, right? A month.
But the transfer window doesn't end until the end of September, so we still got a little time on.
We've got a lot of time.
There's some time there, but it's not the time to do it, though. You're not going to do a full rebuild of all the deadwood that we have, get them out, and bring in new players in that period of time. You're just not. It's going to happen over a couple seasons. So it's reality.
You need a project. You need a project of doing it. Man United, being a Man United fan, we've managed to get rid of most of it. We're not fully completed. You know, I'd love to wave the goodbye to people like Phil Jones, but it's never going to happen. So sometimes you have to realise in some clubs that who's going to take them, who's buying these deadwood players, because we can all sit here and say that players are, a shite or the garbage. Well, other clubs and managers are going to think exactly the same that we're thinking. Why would we want them at our club? Exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
you're
100%.
right. Yeah, but do you know what the problem is with Levy? He values the players too highly and he's too sentimental. So his problem is that when a player's actual market value based on their form currently, right? Say, for example, give an example. Say someone like Ben Davis, right? People wouldn't pay more than 10 million for him. You'll be lucky to get 10 million pounds for him, right? Because of the type of player he is right now and his form, etc. He's not worth more than 10 million. But if there's talk about him, Paratici had a meeting with another team. I can't remember which team it was, that they wanted 30 million euros, and then they'll start talking. And if things like that, it's like this has happened time and time again. Yeah,
evaluating our players properly so that we can sell them.
Yeah, so you need to jump on. Mr. K's worried about you.
Do you know what? It's the same thing that happens year in, year out with Tottenham. The reason why we can't sell the players is because Levy puts too much value on what they're actually worth, and that's the problem.
100%.
If Levy was actually to say, right, let me sell the players for what they're actually worth based on their current form, we would get rid of those players because teams would probably pick them out and they might take a punt on 25 million.
Yeah, it might be a deal for a mid-table team or a lower table team, right?
Right now, Dele Alli's worth, say, 25 million, 30 million pushing it, right?
Yeah.
Now, Daniel Levy will not sell him for less than 40 odd million. And that's the problem. You're never going to get that for Dele Alli right now. No one's going to pay that. He's not proving it.
I'll give you a solution to it. Even if you can't sell the player, send them out on loan for a season with an option to buy. It's a
great idea.
The model,
it's a good idea.
Honestly, the model
a few players you can do that with.
The model that you should follow. Jesse Lingard for us when he was at Man United.
Absolutely. Perfect.
He
idea.
never worked out in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans at the time.
Yeah.
Goes halfway in the season to West Ham, who were on a high.
Gets his value back up.
Takes them to pushing up. Value gone straight back through the roof. And now it looks like we're probably going to give him a new contract anyway. Dele Alli is an easily simple solution.
He's the exact same idea as that as well.
Exactly. Fell out of plans with Gareth Southgate for England. Can't get into the England squad now. Jesse Lingard did the exact same. In many cases, I think he was very unlucky not to have even gone for the Euros with the end of the season that he had and the form that he was in. Dele Alli could easily be similar. Just find the right team.
Eric Dyer could go like that as well. You could do the same with Dyer.
That's the thing. Like for me, Ali, all of us Spurs fans anyway, probably agree Ali should have gone on loan to PSG and they should have let him go because if he did really well, got 6 months of football, like you just said, mate. I don't know your name.
His value back up.
Tom, is it Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, Tom.
Still,
yeah,
I haven't been on Twitter
like
that much
Tom
today.
Said. And like he could have got his value back up, he could have got him in form, and it could have been a whole different story. But I mean, we got so many players like that. I mean, but to be honest, we need them out of that team because it's the mentality problem that a lot of these players have, and that's the issue.
Well, I think the manager. I think. Sorry to interrupt. I just think that the manager, when you're obviously appointed Nuno, I think what a lot of managers decide to do is they'll give it a couple of months. Like whereas with Nuno, I think he's got the pre-season where he can see right. Who's good enough and who can fit into my philosophy, my system, something I'm going to bring new. And exactly the same with Paratici, with the sporting director, who fits the model that we're trying to go in a different direction of right now. who fits that model and who doesn't. And then the players that don't, they're going to just basically get frozen out. It's as simple as that. Not get picked week in, week out. We're not even going to make it on the bench. Just have that ruthless streak in a club where if you see that a player's not good enough, you don't select them, not even to go on the bench. And if you get to the point where you've got to put in some youngsters in there, put the youngsters on the bench.
I mean, we did it with Danny Rose, right? That was
you did it with Danny Rose, exactly. Danny Rose was a player who wasn't good enough. Jose Mourinho saw that. The club were wanting to keep him toward the end of it, but then Jose Mourinho wasn't wanting to select him, put him on the bench or anything. So then he's ended up going anyway. Good riddance. If you're not good enough for the club, then you shouldn't play for the club. It's as simple as that.
Do you know what? To add to that, Tom, right? The problem we've got with a lot of Tottenham players right now is that when Tottenham fans know for years there's a lot of players in that squad that should be gone and should have gone a few years ago. Now, you bring in Jose Mourinho, he obviously has to reevaluate it. So now you've gone 2 years again with the same players, a lot of the same players, and Jose Mourinho came to the point where he realised what we knew 3 years ago, right?
But Poch knew when he said
players in there.
2 years before he got the sack.
There's deadwood in there. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to bring in Nuno, and now what he's going to do is he's going to now probably evaluate for a year. And we're going to be stuck with a lot of these players who may be good in training, which is why a lot of the managers probably put them on the pitch. But we know when it comes to match day, they're not good enough. So you got players like Harry Winks and Dyer, right? They may be really good in training. Like that's why a lot of managers seem to keep picking them. But as soon as it comes to match day, they are disgusting and disgraceful.
Maybe Nuno's relationship with Jose Mourinho will help with that process a little bit. He'll ring him up and be like, "Hey, Nuno,
that's what I dream. I dream about it.
It's something to dream about. What players? He'll give him a list. He'll like, this guy are going to be bad attitudes. Don't have to do the work anymore. Jose's already done it, and then just get the job done.
I hope so.
want to bring
Maybe
in,
we can get in contact with
bring
Nuno
in-
and tell him to do that.
I want to bring in Stell here and let him get his words out before I do that, just want to let people know, if you are watching for the first time, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button.
Smash that like button. Smash it.
And if you think we're all idiots, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But Stell, I don't think that anybody here in this panel, anyway, there may be people out there in the Twitterverse that are
Twitter's always full of stupid people, though.
But there's nobody here that's saying that we're going to get top four and win trophies and with Nuno. I'm just happy for one, it's not Ryan Mason, and two, that it's not Graham Potter, and three, that it's not Klinsmann. That's why I'm happy.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm happy as well.
Experienced Premier League manager that will he'll hold the fort down while we do this rebuild.
I hope our fans are studying their expectations with Nuno. Like, it's definitely possible we can finish. If we don't sell anyone and we don't buy anyone, we can finish the exact same
mid-table.
we did this year.
I
People are gonna freak out like they didn't expect it. Like,
I think you're right.
People.
I think
we
you're
could
right.
definitely have a nearly exact same season as we did last season.
I think the aim though for this season for Tottenham, really, I don't necessarily think it should be win a trophy. I think it's a season where the manager's obviously he's going to want to evaluate, then you rebuild. Yeah, exactly. What the guys
we're
said.
not in a position.
You can evaluate, but still
model
play
that
hard
you
in the
can
cup
do-
competitions.
No, the model that you can do what when here at Man United we got rid of Jose
RAG,
Mourinho
that it was
after that
literally
game.
last
We gave it half a season. All he decided, right, so what players are good enough, what players aren't, and the players that weren't good enough, they were pushed out of the door. And then he brought in the players that were good enough, Premier League proven players. That's where you start first. You get the best in the Premier League. Like
you
we
spent
did with
£300 million.
Harry Maguire. Yeah, we spent £300 million, upwards of that. Yeah, but when you put it into net spend, we've sold enough players really where it funds our future transfers anyway. That's the sort of model that I'm trying to get where Tottenham should follow. If you're not happy to blow £300 million of your hard-earned cash at a project, then you've got to do it from scratch. Where get rid of the players that aren't good enough, total it up. Go into the market and get people. But where we talk about this with recruitment, I think Tottenham have got a good recruitment system. You found some good players.
No,
we don't.
Tom,
But you've never pulled the trigger.
We don't have a good. That's bad recruitment, then, though, mate. That's bad recruitment.
No, Tom,
if you can't identify and print, and then
can I just say 2 words?
That's bad recruitment.
Can I just say 2 words, Tom?
I know what you're gonna say.
Do you know Daniel Levy?
Yeah, I knew
you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
I'm not trying to be Can I say one word, Danny?
Yeah, go on.
That's more than 2 words.
Yeah, okay. No, but I'm trying to emphasize Daniel Levy because this is a guy. I'm not even going to go into Daniel Levy.
Let's not do the rant.
Yeah,
let's do the Brian's not here. Brian's not here to bust it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But AG, I am willing to let you gloat if I am wrong. I don't think that I am. Right. My opinion is based on the evidence that I've looked at. But
I'm actually glad Mason's not there.
Mason doesn't
Yeah,
even have
same
the
here.
coaching
I
badges,
am
does
as well.
he?
No, not all of
Doesn't
them.
even-
Not all of them. He's
Sorry,
got
boy.
enough.
What the fuck, guys?
He's got enough
Come
to
on.
take control of a Premier League game, but not all his full qualifications.
He had to have
No.
an assistant who had
Ridiculous.
his badges.
Mason
Yeah.
would have been the legacy he like barely has, I guess, would have been tarnished if he just kept on going the way he was going. I mean, Jesus Christ, it was horrible.
But still, you came in. You're sitting over there in the corner quiet. What's going on, man?
You're right, still.
Yeah, no, I was listening to you guys talk actually. I've been on Twitter all night, getting absolutely.
That's your problem right there, Stella.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's the worst
right.
place to go in these
Twitter's a
situations. It's
shitstorm.
always just a total mess, man. It's not
Yeah.
good for your mental health.
I've been getting absolutely pummeled for the past hour on Twitter by everyone and anyone.
So basically, another day in Stowe's world. Then.
No, tonight was bad. Tonight was bad, man. I mean,
If Stell's saying it's bad, it was really bad.
it was
Yeah, I was
bad.
gonna say yeah.
I mean, I
For the rest
feel
of us, it's like,
fucking,
Tom,
yeah.
can I just
No,
say something, Tom? Yeah, you're lucky, mate, that your owners actually spend money. I know Man United fans always go Glazers out, but I'm sorry, but when you go spend 90 million euros on a player who's a brilliant player, I mean, Tottenham fans only dream of spending half of that on one player.
we did it on Nubelli, Danny. Let's be real.
No,
we
no,
spent
we
65 million,
spent
65
60
million
million pounds on our whole squad last season, bringing in 7 players.
Guys,
They've gone to spend
You're just talking about net
73
spend. You're talking about
million
net spend.
on one player. On one player.
We can't compare Tottenham to Manchester United. There's
No.
for so many reasons. For so many reasons. But can I just let me get my bit of Nuno out of the way, right? First of all, I want to go back to the Amazon documentary where Daniel Levy said Jose Mourinho is one of the top 2 greatest managers on the planet.
Yeah.
And he said only time will tell and whether his decision to sack Poch and bring Jose in was right. He was catastrophically wrong. So well done on that one. So now that we have no trust, or I have no trust for his decision making in recruitment or his vision of why he recruits managers, he then goes on to give Nuno a contract for 2 years. Please explain to me what plan, what project, what outcome we're expecting to achieve in 2 years. Do you know what that says to me? Do you know what a 2-year contract says to me?
Yeah,
That says,
stabilize.
I'm not sure. No, it says, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about you, so I'm going to give you 2 years, and then I'll make a
You weren't sure
decision.
about him?
It's common now with most contracts, though, that they're two
Because they're not
maximum 3
sure.
years.
Because they're not sure of the manager. So for me, that's not a good
common,
sign.
though.
Yeah, but I think the only sign is Daniel Levy wants to bring back Pochettino, and that's why he's giving him a 2-year contract.
Just because it's common, it doesn't make it right. So for me,
Oh, I agree. I didn't say it was right.
No,
I
yeah,
said
it's
common.
not right.
Yeah. I'm just saying. To me, that's the second issue I've got with this, and thirdly, Nuno is a good manager. He's not crap. He's good. But he's not.
Yeah.
He's not top 4 level, and he's not trophy level. He's got nothing in his locker to prove that, and he had arguably some of the best players in the league attracted to his team, and he couldn't get them into Europa Cup. He couldn't do it. He had all the. What I mean, Europa Cup being top 6. He couldn't do it. He simply could do it. So
He won a trophy.
No. Don't compare his team that was so far apart from all the other championship sides.
No, I
that
said he won a trophy.
in.
No, I said he won a trophy.
If he's
won
not
a
a top, if he's not a top 4 manager, I would argue that our squad isn't even top 4.
It's not a top 4
and
squad.
So, I mean, it is.
We
I
haven't
was
got
not
a top 4
arguably.
squad.
Not arguably. I guess you're right.
It's not a
our
top
squad
4
is not
squad.
top 4. So right
Nuno
now, I think
He's going to get top 6
the 2
and no
years
trophies.
just to
That's it.
do whatever,
Yeah.
get rid of the deadwood, and then
It's a process. Like it's not going to happen anytime quick.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen
Guys,
quickly.
This is what's wrong, Brian. Though this is why on Twitter tonight, like people were losing their shit with me because they didn't like the fact that I was being straight up with them. 20 years has been a process. Now we're going to go for another 2 years of a plan.
Yeah, true,
When
true.
does this process stop? At
Look,
what point does
top
this club
6,
say?
top 6 and no trophies is better than 14th and
But
no
see what he's
trophies.
done there to
No,
you,
it's
Will.
not.
He's
No,
made
it's
you
not.
expect
No,
it
it's
now.
not. It's the
He's
same
made,
thing.
he's what Daniel Levy has done is fucking load everyone's expectations by
Yeah.
what he's doing to his
The
club.
way we're
This
talking
is the
is all
problem.
because of Daniel.
Not me, mate. Not
The
me.
way we're
No,
talking
no.
is all
No
because of Daniel. Levy.
expectations.
No,
No,
but
no.
yeah, but what he's. I'm just saying. I'm trying to go on based on what Will's just said. He's like top 6 would be a good season, but this is what
I didn't.
he's
No,
done.
no.
It's not what
No,
Will
no,
said.
no.
Comparison.
Not what I said. Right? Don't straw man my position. What I said was top 6 and no trophies is better than
Last season.
14th and no trophies
How's it better?
because
Yeah.
one is 6th and one is 14th.
How's that better?
One is
One is in
bad,
Europe, one isn't.
and one is absolutely embarrassing.
So what if you're in Europe if you're not winning trophies?
I don't care about the
Stel,
Europe
wait a
part.
minute,
Well,
Stel. We've had
it's-
this argument before about being in the Champions League. You get more money. You get more money to invest in the squad. That's the reason you get into Europe, so that you can reinvest in the
14th
squad.
is
So you
not
can,
like
problem
it.
is though,
we've done it. We've done it already.
done
There's,
that.
Get more money.
we
you can
have
get more
done
money,
that.
it
We
goes
did
in
that
the
with
squad. It
Pochettino.
doesn't do that. It doesn't do that with
Been
Levy,
there,
man.
been there,
It doesn't
been
do
there,
it.
done that. Worn the t-shirt. Bored of it.
Yeah.
Either you set up a club that wants to win trophies and you want to be successful, like City, Chelsea, Leicester, Man United are trying now. Clubs are out there trying to do that. We are not set up to win trophies. And this Nuno appointment, listen, this went wrong for me as soon as Paratici
I don't
came.
disagree with you at all.
I was against Paratici. He's not the director of football for this club. We should have got Campos or Ragniak because they have performed miracles at clubs that don't have a lot of money.
Yep.
Paratici is used to working at an elite club that can attract players for fun, and they pay insane wages at Juventus to get those players.
Yep.
You think he's going to pull those strings at Tottenham with Levy signing off on it? No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. I think it's 100%.
Isn't that part of
It
the?
took him long enough to get a manager in, really, when you think about it. I know he came in a similar time when the Conte talks were on, but then you've jumped from Conte to Fonseca to then squirreling around for a name and for a manager, and then you've landed on Nuno, really. When you jumped to Pochettino, to Conte, to all over the bloody shop, and then you've landed on Nuno, and then you only decide to give him 2 years. It's not really I don't really think it's a fair bargain. To be honest, it doesn't really show you a project. To me, it just shouts out desperation for a manager.
It shouts
100%.
it sounds to me like it's a stopgap, like Mason was
100%.
at the end of last season. I think Nuno's a
I'm okay with
stopgap
stopgap.
until we
When I-
can figure out what we're
Brian.
what we're gonna do.
Brian, why are we doing a stopgap? What club?
Because
does
we're
stopgaps?
incredibly mismanaged by a
We
shitty
have
fucking
Daniel Levy
owner
at
and
the
board.
helm.
I
This
know.
guy-
Levy is our owner. That's why.
Daniel
I know
Levy
that.
thinks he knows football.
Stopgap.
I don't think it's
Stopgap.
okay. I don't think it's okay. I just think that's what's
I know
happening.
you don't. I know you
I'm
don't.
just pointing it out. I think it's
It's very
fucking utter
clear that-
shambles.
The
The last-
stopgap.
the-
The reason he got a 2-year contract is so after 2 years we
Pochettino
can
can
go
come
back
back.
in for Poch. Exactly. That's the plan. It's pretty obvious. That's the plan.
So get Poch now.
Guys,
Bring
we
Poch
got
now.
super chat here. Can
No,
we read it out?
We have Daniel Levy.
He's
Too
not
much
gonna
money
pay
for
the
Levy
money.
to spend.
Hold on,
Money.
stop. Right, listen.
the Brady
Levy
bunch
can
going
get
on
him if he wants to. He
Thank you,
apparently
thank you.
prepared to pay Conte 13 million pounds, right? So he can go fucking get anyone he wants. He just doesn't want to because he doesn't want to spend the money. This is the problem.
Yeah.
He's giving everyone these expectations that we can't do things, but we can. This is the fucking problem. He's making everyone believe that we're not
Right,
in
but
the
I'm saying
position
that's
where
who
we
he
can
is.
be.
We know that, Danny. It's not that he's given us this expectations that we can't do anything. The expectation isn't that Tottenham Hotspur Football Club can't do anything. It's that because our owner is Daniel Levy, we
Yeah, I
can't
know,
do
but-
anything.
Guys,
This is
does
what he's
everyone
done to the
agree?
fans.
Does everyone agree? In 2 years' time, most football clubs will have They would have stabilized after COVID and the financial crisis. They would have at least
Definitely.
stabilized.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most
So in 2
clubs
years, wait,
would,
hear me
but
out.
not
Hear
with
my
Daniel
logic.
Levy.
Profit.
Most clubs would, but not with Daniel Levy at the helm.
Hear my logic. So in 2 years' time, if most clubs have stabilised their finances and Poch has won the Champions League and he's won the league at PSG, and everyone's saying, oh, 2 years' time, stopgap, Poch is going to come. I'll tell you what's going to happen. The biggest and the best clubs are going to say, no, we want Poch. And because they're financially stable, they will be able to offer him everything that we should be
Real
doing
Madrid.
now. And Poch will end up at a top club.
Real
He won't
Madrid.
come back to Tottenham in 2 years. That's my
I think
prediction.
I think
Okay.
actually Spurs will be. I think Spurs will be financially stable in 2 years. I think because of I think they will. I'm not saying that they'll use the money. Hey, wait a minute.
Money, so.
I know. Well, he's not going to spend the money, and then we've got this massive
but
stadium.
not like Real Madrid and Barca.
Barcelona and Real Madrid are in fucking
Okay,
shambles right now. Bad
Either we
examples,
don't get
though.
him now, or we don't
Bad
get him in the
examples.
future. We don't get
Really
him.
bad examples,
I mean,
though. Those two clubs, Real Madrid and Barcelona, are in an absolute mess right now. And
In
they're
2 years' time, in 2 years' time,
they'll be in worse mess.
No,
for sure.
because their global fan base is so big, the income they generate globally will fix it. Whereas
I
Tottenham's
don't think
fan
so.
base,
They've had that income globally forever, and they're in the shit now
because their wage bill. Because of their wage bill.
because of mismanagement, and they still have the same people in place managing those clubs.
But they've got 2 years to sort that out.
But the same people are managing, like we have Levy. What makes you think they're going to just change it?
But the thing to sort out at Barcelona is you have to get rid of Messi.
Yeah.
Like, they will continue to be in this position as long as they keep paying him that money. Regardless of who's running the club, who the chairman is, they can, have a merry-go-round with all these guys year after year like they always do. It won't make a difference because you just cannot sustainably run a football club.
They have a different problem.
Almost $1 billion a year.
Yeah, they have a different problem financially, but a similar problem that they're not going to just deal with it in 2 years. Spurs probably have the easiest way to get out of it because of the stadium, because of NFL, and because of all the things that Levy has done that isn't football that we all complain about on a regular basis for good reason, by the way. I complain about it, but that stadium, once it's able to be reopened, will stabilize Spurs in 2 years quicker than most other clubs.
Stadium.
But
Barcelona's 120,000.
They don't have a deal with the NFL. Like that's the amount of value.
It's one game a year.
It's not 1 game a year. It's like 12 or 13 games a year, mate. It's not 1 game a year.
No, it's
yes,
not.
it is. Yes,
Brian,
it is.
It's not.
It's not 1 game a year, Stella.
Brian,
it's not one.
It's two max. I promise you, it's two max.
I'll guarantee it's not. They're actually planning.
I'm gonna get
planning.
No,
guys.
It's more than that.
It's way more than 1 game a year, mate. It's at
we
least
all-
5.
We all got our answer with the whole we had our answer with the whole Conte situation. We had, just like Danny said, we could have gotten Conte. We could have.
Yeah,
but we didn't because Conte is too ambitious for us. We got our answer with Conte.
Yeah, this is it.
Your expectations of the next manager, oh no, it's Nuno, oh no, it's Graham Potter. It doesn't matter who the next manager was because we had our answer. We had a manager who wanted to come in right now and get the squad situated and win trophies.
Exactly.
And we didn't take him because he wanted all of his staff, one of them, including his brother.
Do you know what that probably is? Do you know what that probably is? It's probably because
I'm losing my mind with this whole
Wait, boys.
2 NFL games per year over 10 years. Cool. So it's 20 over 10 years. I told you.
And honestly, that probably brings in
another
more
deal.
money than half the whole.
There's another deal there.
Right.
There's another deal for more games.
Boys. Right. There's been a stupid Will's left, so let's just acknowledge the super chat there at the bottom saying Stelios praise, expectations on the floor. This is a mess. He's sick on the floor. Stel, you getting to say for that?
Yeah, look, Nuno's a good manager. We're going to get top 6. We're going to get to quarterfinals, but that's it. Is that what we want as fans? No. So why are we accepting?
Of course we don't.
So why are we accepting? Why are we saying I'm going to get behind the team? I'm going to back him for what? For top 6?
Because it's our club, and that's what you do.
What else is there to do? To say we don't want him, we don't want you, we don't want your staff. We're just going to go to the games.
Not you. Go out there and see what people are saying. They're all going nuts. Yeah, Nuno. We got Nuno. What?
Who's feeding back? Somebody's.
Is it me?
I think it's Will, really. I think it's Will.
It might be Will, yeah. He's trying to get himself back.
Everyone here,
maybe, guys,
everyone's been all right here.
Maybe we get, maybe, miracle, we might squeeze top 4. I'm not doubting it. I'm not saying it's impossible. But do I feel like Nuno is the man to come to this club with this stadium and these facilities and the money we generate now with this director of football and Levy wants to unfinished business that he wants to sort out? Nuno's the guy, the final piece of the jigsaw. I'm sorry, man.
No,
I don't think anybody thinks that, though,
that.
mate. Nobody here anyway. Maybe
I'm just saying it. I'm sorry.
Maybe on Twitter.
I don't know what you guys were saying earlier.
I'm
just saying it.
Still, I think you're right with saying in 2 years that this Poch thing is probably not going to happen. I mean, most likely over there, Poch he's going to win the league with PSG. He may win a Champions League at that point. He has the status that he can actually win the big trophies, and other clubs might want him. That's definitely possible. But either we don't Either we don't get Poch now, like we could have gotten him a few months ago, or we don't get him in the future. All right, so we're not getting Poch. Okay. So what do we do then? Any manager at that point would do, because we had Conte. We had him.
See,
we didn't
Bob
really,
Spur, Bob Spur made a comment earlier where he said, if that was true or something, then
you would have no manager under Levy.
If he said if Conte came, we still wouldn't have won under Levy. No, that's wrong, because if Conte came, he would only have come if Levy agreed to his ways. You're going to change for me. And that's why he didn't come.
Levy said, I don't want to be like you for some reason.
I'm not having your 7 members
that's
of
never
backroom
happening.
staff.
Do you agree with AG though, Stel?
AG, this appointment says us
we
back
already
7
are
years.
7 years
No,
back.
it doesn't say us back 7
that's
years.
Not 7 years. That's a bit. It's a bit.
Like
much.
I said,
That's absurd.
Nuno is a top 6 manager, 7th, 6th, roundabout there. So that's not 7 years back. But he's not the way forward.
Okay, all right. Listen, but is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a top 6 manager or a top 4 manager like he's gotten the last couple of years? No,
Right. So
no, he's
argue-
not. He has no place in that job, and that's the thing. Is that the best we can hope for is that Nuno or any other guy that comes in under Levy outperforms his expectations and gets us into top 4 like Pochettino did. That's the best we can hope for.
What has Ole won?
That is where we are as a club. We have to accept
What has
it.
Ole won?
Yeah,
What has Ole
nothing.
won?
I don't expect us to win anything.
Exactly.
Why would we expect to win? We've been terrible. I mean, we haven't won.
Guys, can I just get some order for 1 second, guys? We have an awful lot of viewers. We've got like over 200 viewers which are here right, yeah? And I got to read out some super chats which the viewers are putting into the chat room. I hope you guys don't mind. So you can unmute yourself, I believe, right now. But I got to read this one here from AG. It says that the appointment back, right? Yeah, 7 years, Santini-like. And, big up AG. Thank you very much for putting those comments in. I really, really, really do appreciate them. They help the channel. And I'm going to point out towards another super chat which has come in. And this is from Eglia. I do beg your pardon, I can't get the surname right.
Ellie,
but
just call her Ellie.
Ellie, right over here. And it says, let's have a reality check. All these other managers, we had delivered 1 trophy in 20 years. We had done 20 years. Right, season for God. Nuno has to win 2 trophies, and he's doubled our trophy haul. Give him a chance, lads.
That's
basically it. It's 2 years, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
If he wins 2.
Buts and maybes.
Nothing is guaranteed in football, mate. There's nothing is guaranteed.
Yeah,
in football.
nothing's guaranteed in football. Brian's right. But the problem is, people need to remember that Levy's dominance of 20-year era that he's had, he's caused this problem of no trophies. We were one of the best teams of trophy hauls in the FA Cup before the Premier League era started. And now we're like so far down the list because of the way he's run the business. This is the problem. He set the expectations low from the very beginning because he wanted to improve the business side of things. He doesn't give a fuck about the trophies and stuff like that, because if we had someone who cared about the trophies, they would focus on actually improving the squad and actually at vital times and trying to win things, not having 20 years of nothingness because he doesn't care.
Danny,
this is the problem. He's lowered everyone's expectations. Like everyone's like, oh, but what have we won? So why do we expect to win? That's because of what he's done. People need to understand he's done this to the fans. He's made us feel like, oh, we shouldn't expect it because we haven't won in 20 years. But it's his fault we haven't won in 20 years. Danny, this is the problem.
Danny, can I just add one thing to what you're saying, right? And this sums up our fan base. And this is where our fan base is lazy. They're lacking in understanding. Sorry to say it, but it's true. When you go on a coaching course...
I got to interrupt you one second here.
Go for it.
My internet's crapping in and out. Mr. K, please don't jump out. I'll put you back in after I'm done, just in case it craps out again. But have we read these or no?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
This one too?
Mr. K read it.
Yep.
No,
that's a new one. That's
okay, so no season ticket holder. I know wanted Nuno. I think that's irrelevant.
It's a pretty big statement when you haven't talked to all the season ticket holders, but sure.
He knows, so he may not know a whole lot, but it's irrelevant to the if he's a good manager or not.
I was trying to go to sleep, but I keep on hearing.
I'm gonna throw you back in. I'll be in the
Bobby,
background.
your name's gotten mentioned on a few occasions, buddy.
Subscribe to the channel because my internet sucks right now. And Mr. K, I'm going to put you back in the stream just in case it blasts out again. I'll be in the background and jump in when somebody jumps out.
All right. Yeah, I've been trying to go to sleep, but I keep on hearing Stel making up his own agenda, then arguing it. So I thought I'd come on.
What are you talking
Mate,
about? What are you talking about? Don't start with me.
Stel.
I'm not in the mood.
Stel. I'm not in the mood as well. So piss off, Stel.
Can I just say as well, piss off to whoever that Sangro is as well. He butchering me on Twitter. Then he comes in here to follow me. He's obsessed with me. Honestly, I think I found a date. Take my number. Take my number and give me a call.
Right. First of all, there's no one, and I mean no one, jumping from the rooftop saying Nuno, this, Nuno that. Nuno isn't the issue. It's Levy. No matter who we got in, top six, a break, a stopgap, it always would have been that. Be it Conte, be it Nuno, be it Poch. Whoever it was, it's Levy who's the issue, not the manager. And I've not come across one single Spurs fan who said, yeah, finally, Nuno, he's the saviour. I don't think anyone's expecting him to be the saviour. I don't expect us to have a really good season next season. But he is representing my football club, and I'll back him. I'll be behind him. If he fucks up, I'll back Jose. But when he fucked up, I was the biggest Jose out there ever. But he's there for now. We were quite happy to welcome Fonseca in. You as well, Stel. We were all quite happy.
No. I said I'm not against. I said I'm against it. Paratici and Fonseca. I said I'm against it.
Yes,
I said
okay. Okay. As a fan base,
your
we're
agendas,
all
Mr. Bob Spur.
We were quite happy.
You've ruined my argument, Stel.
Quite happy to welcome Fonseca in because we were sick and tired of not being without a manager. Same goes for Nuno. It's irrelevant who we get in. Levy's the issue. So I don't see the point of not backing the manager because whoever it is, it was always going to be the same.
Yeah,
because Levy, I am more Levy out than Nuno in. I am more Levy and Enoch out than Nuno. And if Nuno fucks it up on the pitch, mate, I'll be the first one.
Call him out.
Why did he do that? Why didn't he do that? Why didn't he do that? But for now, benefit of the doubt. Like anyone, like any manager, be it Fonseca, be it Conte, be it Poch, be it Nuno, I'm not expecting anything because there's no point in expecting anything while Levy and Enoch are there. There's no point.
Levy is the problem.
Spot on, Bobby.
The stem of everything at this club. The last time I was on the show, my whole thing was Levy thinks he knows football. In his head, he thinks he knows everything about football, what needs to go on the pitch, blah, 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 blah. The reason why Daniel was saying earlier that Levy thinks he can get $30 million for Ben Davies because he actually believes Ben Davies' skill is worth $30 million.
He lives in his own bubble, like it's the Levy bubble of like how he sees the world, and it's completely false and not remotely accurate to what the numbers are.
The only reason why we're being held back. I truly believe that.
Can I ask you all a question then, right? So Nuno was appointed, and there was better managers out there: Conte, Valverde, Favre, Spalletti, Garcia, who are vacant as well, right? So we'll go round, right, and just give it in one sentence what you think this appointment kind of like. What does this show Levy's intention? And obviously, just keep it one sentence because it's like 9 of 10.
I'll start. I just go. It shows him being afraid and not knowing what decision to make. Okay,
I was going to say that Levy does not know. Levy thinks that this is the right decision, but it's not because he doesn't know anything about fucking football. I'll tell you that.
Danny?
Oh, he hasn't known anything since the day he started the job.
Bob?
Cheap and cheerful. The cheap and cheerful choice, isn't he? It's 684th choice, and he'll do for now.
Well, Bob, what did he say again? He goes, we save pennies and we put all the pennies back into the club. That's what he thought.
Into the team. Into the team.
That's
right, Danny. Right.
What he does. Pennies.
Right. I've completely forgot your name, boy, at bottom left.
Chris.
What's his name, Mr. Chris? That's it, Chris. What do you think? In a sentence, if you could sum up.
Levy ain't a football man. He's just an accountant. That's what he is.
Kind of shit one.
He thinks he knows football.
Yeah, shit one, yeah.
Well said, Chris. Definitely.
Still.
If you back Nuno, you back Levy because Levy has brought in Nuno. End of.
But you have to back Conte though.
Can I just say something, please? Just,
Yeah, if Conte came in, I would have backed Levy and Conte.
Right, hold on.
So what's the difference then?
Because Conte would have been
Conte's not here.
Conte would have been a statement from Levy saying that I'm willing to hire this guy because I'm going to put in the money to get the players that Conte wants. That it actually would have been, oh wow, you know how people are saying or Enoch out or at least Enoch reform.
Daniel Levy didn't want him, by the way.
Daniel Levy
Enoch reform. Just listen to our fan base. Listen to our fan base. Enoch reform, like we're a political campaign now. What kind of madness is going on at Tottenham? Enoch reform.
Does the boy below me?
Go on, mate.
I think one sentence for.
I think Sans wants my number because someone send it to him, please.
From Levy's perspective, I would say
send it.
Cannon fodder. Like
cannon fodder. That's
like Paratici. Cannon fodder. Somebody to put in front of him to shield him. So
fair enough. What about you, outside boy, Man United fan? Is it Tom?
Tom. Yeah. What were your question, man?
So an outside looking in, right? What do you feel? What does this show as an intention or ambition that Levy's appointed Nuno out of all the available managers right now? Because there's better ones.
Inti, I thought you were going to ask him, are Tottenham shit?
Our Tottenham shit and give us 10 reasons why.
This ain't good for my heart, man. This ain't good for my health.
Bob, you need to be resting, man.
So me and
still going to stress you out.
What do you think,
Oh, man.
Yeah, I just think it's desperation, to be honest with you, because you've jumped from manager to manager to manager. Like with Conte, if you brought him in, then really there's no excuse for Daniel Levy not to back him, because wherever he's been, wherever you back him, he wins. He's always won trophies. It's proven fact. He's won trophies with shit. Let's be honest. He won trophies with shit players at Inter Milan. Players like Ashley Young who weren't good enough at Manchester United, and he went and won a Serie A title with them. Ahead of funded back clubs like Juventus, who fully back managers. But with Nuno, I think. If I was in Tottenham's shoes, I would probably say whoever you bring in, you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, it's a fresh start, it's a fresh, direction. It's something new, because it is something new. It's a new name. It's a new direction in a way. Even with the sporting director, love him or hate him, it's something new that you've not had before.
No, it's not new.
Wait, hold on,
We've had five.
I want to say a point after.
Just let Mr. You can go. You two can have it. Just let Mr. Cave wrap up this question.
Well, guys, I believe speaking that that suffers from many types of neurosis. One of them is so therefore,
your vocal's really bad, bro.
Your signal's not listenable, mate.
It's like duplicating.
Okay, one second. Guys, is that better?
No.
Oh,
duplicating.
Okay, knackers I come out of it.
You must have YouTube on in the background on your phone or something, or another.
You must have YouTube in the background.
Mr. K, go ahead and try to reset yourself, and then when you pop back into the back,
Bobby, that was brilliant. That was absolutely
love that, Bobby.
That was so good.
As soon as you said it, I knew that.
You knew who it was.
That's class.
Best moment of the stream right there was that.
What do you think?
To laugh when talking about Spurs. Actually, I laughed.
Yeah. You have to bring it. You have to bring it after. Well, I'm going to say, I will agree with Stel with one thing. Believe it or not, it's the fan base, isn't it, Stel? Because there will be people who won't differentiate between. Oh no, if I'm here to support Nuno, but it means I can't not support Levy. I can differentiate.
They're two different things.
Yeah, I can support Nuno,
100%.
but I can also be at the NFL protests. But there will be people out there. There will be fan base out there who will think, you know what? I don't need to go to the protest now.
Can I say something? Wait. Hold on. I want to say something. Wait, Brian, I was first. Hold on. Let me.
No, you weren't. I was first.
Yes, I was. Let me say something.
I'm just fucking with you, Danny. Go
Right.
ahead.
Let me say something. Hold on. Right.
No, I want to say something. I want to say something.
Right.
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing?
All of you, shut up before I mute all of you. Danny, speak.
Right. I want to elaborate on what Stel was saying, right? Because people are saying they want to back Nuno. I'm going to back Nuno, but the problem is you can't be Levy out if you back Nuno, because what Stel's trying to say is, listen, me and Stel are season ticket holders, right? If you're in the stadium, right, and you want to back Nuno, you can't be saying Levy out, Levy out. You can't be, the whole stadium cannot be saying Levy out, because what that does is it creates a toxic environment and it makes it look bad on him, and it feels like you're not backing you're not backing the manager who Levy has chosen. So you're essentially saying, I don't want Nuno because you're not backing his decision. So you
disagree.
No, you can't.
Totally disagree.
You can't,
mate.
Bob. You can't.
How'd you back Nuno?
You can't, mate.
But not back Levy on a match day. How'd you
with
back
your
Nuno,
logic,
not the other on
with your logic, you don't support. You don't. No point supporting the team then.
You're not even going to games anymore. Then what's the point?
In your logic, you can't support. No, you can't support the players then.
You can't buy season tickets.
Gotta talk one at a time.
You can't buy season tickets.
Sounds like a train.
You can't buy season's ticket and support and not support Daniel Levy then. So you guys shouldn't have season tickets.
Don't support the players.
Because then you're supporting Daniel Levy.
It's not. It's exactly your point.
Same logic.
Same logic, mate.
It's not the same logic.
Yes, it is.
Exactly.
Because you're bought into the club.
It's not.
Yes, it is. You're bought into the club.
No, it's not.
Guys, no,
You're telling me you live in London and you get a chance to have a season ticket to go and watch your club you love. You're not going to take that chance.
Of course,
just because Daniel Levy's running the club.
How is supporting? How is backing Nuno?
Exactly. So
you can't be Levy out. That's ridiculous.
It makes sense.
That's ridiculous, man.
No, you can't.
Totally disagree.
You can't. No.
All right. If we appointed Conte, would you back Levy?
Totally disagree.
If we appointed Conte, would you be backing Levy? Because obviously you would back Conte.
Levy brought him in.
I've went on record saying I'll be happy with the Conte appointment, but my question would still be asked with Levy. My question wouldn't be the Conte appointment. My questions would always sit with Levy. What is he doing? What's the ulterior motive? Is he going to back him?
Okay, Bob.
And my question still stands for that.
If we sign 3 world-class players, because Levy's gone and paid the money and bought them, that means you back Levy. If you back those players and you back the manager that is going to go and manage those players.
But then you're Levy in there, aren't you?
And if you bought a season ticket, you're doing the same thing.
But hold on.
You're Levy in there.
But Levy is doing what you wanted to, what we wanted to do, and back the manager.
No, so it has to work out.
So if it backs Nuno, that means you now back Levy.
It
works hand in hand.
100%.
No.
So does buying a season ticket. So does buying a season ticket.
Excuse me, no, because when you buy a season ticket, it's different. I'll tell you why. I buy a season ticket in hope that one day in the future this club is actually decent, and I don't want to lose my chance.
I support Nuno. I support Nuno as a manager.
I'm with you.
Wait. I support Nuno as a manager, Bobby. I support Nuno as a manager in hope that someday we'll win trophies.
Yeah, same.
We're not going to win trophies.
So then you support Levy. Because without Levy, then you support Levy.
No, but
use the same logic you just used.
I am.
Use it on your ticket.
I am.
You're not.
So you're
relying.
Okay.
You're failing in
I am.
logic.
Without Levy, Nuno won't win. Without Levy,
you're relying on players that Levy has brought in to bring in success. So you support Levy.
Yep. 100%.
So you support Levy then.
Even
no,
because
I know.
You support Levy because you're supporting Nuno.
No, because I know.
Nuno. We're all supporting Nuno. We're all supporting
because
Levy.
Guys. I know.
Totally disagree.
Totally disagree. That's not true because I know this club would be good once Levy's gone, and that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, same.
Well, you're giving Levy money while you're
so
waiting.
I'm not supporting Levy because what choice do I have?
So you weren't supporting Poch?
What choice do I have then? How do I have a season ticket in 10 years' time?
So you weren't supporting Poch then?
Hold on, let me speak.
You're not supporting Poch.
I was behind Poch.
Pochettino.
I was behind Poch.
So you supported Levy back then?
I was behind Levy during Poch, yeah.
Well, could all hope, can't we? And your answer to your question, if he does bring in 3 world-class players, that's a start. Yeah, it's a start.
My turn.
Brings in,
My turn.
Oh, 20 years of fucking
if.
If.
My turn. That's the power of the clicker. Super chat here from AG. Nothing against Nuno. He shouldn't be there. It's Levy's fault. I'm going to unmute you now, but please do not talk over me while I'm speaking. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Can I finish my little bit from before?
Will just said don't talk over him while he speaks. Let him speak.
Thank you. My whole point is this, okay? The whether you dislike Nuno or not, your logic is flawed, right? It is. It's flawed. Regardless of what you say that it's not, it is flawed. Because if you're saying that supporting Nuno, who was picked by Paratici, who was hired by Levy, is therefore supporting Levy, then that means that supporting any player that plays for the club is supporting Levy, because you're supporting that player. It means that anytime that you go to anything that is associated with the club, you're supporting Levy, right? You can have your season ticket for the future, but if you go to a match, you're supporting Levy.
No.
Yeah. It's the same logic.
Absolutely. I was supporting Tottenham before Daniel Levy was here, Will.
How? It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
It does. No, it does, because that's what I support.
That's a different logic.
What I support.
Stop. The logic isn't right.
Yeah.
Those players, are any players who are playing for the squad there before Daniel Levy? Is there one? None.
It's the badge.
Not a single one.
It's the badge I support, Will. That was there before Levy, before the players, before the manager. That's what
how does that attach to Nuno? So if you back Nuno, how is that backing Levy? The two are not connected in any way.
Because Levy's picked him to be his puppet.
He hasn't.
Yes, he has.
He hasn't.
What's Nuno there for? What's Nuno's job?
Huh?
What's Nuno's job then? What's he here for?
To manage the club.
To do what?
To manage the club.
To do what?
To manage the club.
To do what?
To manage the club to what?
To play football.
Was that
Why?
it?
Because we're a football club.
What,
and what's the aim of the club?
League.
What's the aim of the club?
Conference League.
What's the aim of the club?
Conference League.
What's the aim of the club?
Conference League.
To win what?
What?
Conference League.
Why,
guys? I don't understand.
Exactly. Not trophies. So I'm not behind it.
Going in a circle.
It's very bizarre.
I'm going to go back to this every single
because
time.
I'm talking about outcomes. I'm talking about
outcomes. Answer with Conte. This club does not want to succeed at this moment because Daniel Levy is doing the shit he's doing.
Right, can I just say something, right?
One second, can I just say something?
You go.
Jesus Christ. I'm actually leaving. That's what I'm trying to say. Thanks for having me on, but this has become a complete shit show. I love all of you. You're all amazing people. I just want to plug my channel real quick. I just started a new channel. It's called Spurs Sick because, like all of us are right now, Spurs sick. It's making us sick. So anyway,
we're always sick.
I just released a video talking about my thoughts on Nuno. So if you care at all what I think, you can go see it on there. But anyway, thanks for having me. Thank you, Will. Thank you, everybody.
Everyone go follow Spurs sick.
Just.
I get his point. I was about to do the same thing because it's just getting a little bit ridiculous here.
No, because it's got to be called out, though, right?
I agree.
Because the
I agree
logic is irrational. It's not.
It's circular reasoning. It's circular reasoning. It literally is circular reasoning. You're not recognizing that one
backing
is
the club if you're doing it for the players. You're backing the club if you're keeping your ticket. But if you back Nuno, you're backing Levy, and you can't do both.
Yeah.
Do not take this the wrong way. Do not take this the wrong way.
Absurd.
Please, do not take this the wrong way because this could so easily be taken the wrong way. What I'm going to say.
There we go.
Right?
There we go.
It really could.
I don't get offended. You're welcome.
You have not been supporting this club the length I have and have been supporting this club for the reasons I support them. You haven't. And it's not disrespectful to you because I love your channel, Will. I'm on it all the time because I like you and I like the content. And the same with Brian Ireland. I do a show with him, right? I support this club because it's Tottenham Hotspur. It's the neighbourhood next to where I grew up. It's my local team and it's the badge and the history. Whether Levy's here, Nuno, the players, it doesn't mean I have to back them to support the club. That's the point I'm trying to make. And maybe only a legacy fan, which is what but maybe it's because I'm a legacy fan. It's hard to explain that, the emotion attached to that, and how I can disengage that emotion from Levy, Nuno, and the players. They're two separate emotions. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
You're the one who's saying that if I support Nuno, I'm supporting Levy. You're the one connecting the two.
You've just argued your own point.
But you
just argued your own point,
but you are. Because
okay, what about me then? I've supported the top. Oh, hold on. I've supported the team for 42 years. I was born in South East London. They aren't my local team, but they are one of my local teams. I will support any manager, whoever it is, and I can differentiate between them because I will be the first one and the last one at the protest, wanting Levy out. I don't want the players out. I want Kane to stay, and he is
I want some of the players
a player who's come through the Levy era, so I can differentiate, believe it or not.
But Bob,
I'm clever enough to
when you
differentiate
supported
between
the
the
club
manager
and the managers in the past, you supported the chairman at the same time.
No, you don't.
Not
of course you don't.
necessarily.
Yes, you do.
You're telling me I wasn't there when we wanted Sugar out, although we just won the 91.
Yeah, but you stopped
FA
supporting
Cup.
the chairman at that point. You wanted the changes, right?
Yeah, of course,
It
I
goes
want
hand in
changes
hand.
now.
The chairman and the manager go hand in hand now.
No, they don't.
Not necessarily.
No,
Yes.
no. Then what's the difference between the players then?
Employs the manager and you approve of the manager, that means you've approved of the chairman's decision to employ him.
So you've approved of the players.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
The
so
players-
you approve of the players as well. Yes, but I don't approve of our players. I think they're shit.
The cafeteria
I
staff.
think they all need to go.
Look what Daniel Levy's done to us.
You're not
Look
telling
at
me
what
that
Daniel Levy has done to all of us.
Bad argument.
Make no
NWA
logic.
and all those. Maybe
There's
NWA.
no
but
logic
not the other
still.
ones.
I love
logic
it, mate.
is
And
time.
all your
See, to simply say,
99%,
Stel,
so-
there's no logic. How?
Sorry.
Tell me where the logic
Because your
is.
logic
doing
is
a logical
you're doing a
fallacy.
fallacy.
Circular reasoning.
It's not even. It's
What-
not even a
what do you mean
circular
circular
reasoning.
reasoning?
It's not even circular reasoning. What it is it's a hasty generalization fallacy. It is circular reasoning fallacy. It's
many fallacies.
Multiple fallacies.
Okay, here's a question. All right,
It's
here's
very
a question.
fallacious. Very
Here's a
fallacious.
question. When Pochettino was in charge of Tottenham, were you behind Levy, yes or no?
We all were.
Right.
We all were
When
behind Poch.
Mourinho was going tits up and you wanted him gone, were you behind Levy?
No.
No.
That's what I mean. They go hand in hand.
I didn't want Mourinho gone.
There was a point though with Pochettino's situation where you could see that it was being split. I still supported Pochettino, but I didn't support Levy anymore because you could tell that their relationship was gone. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that?
That's
It's
what I was
false
looking
economy.
for.
How do you deal with that in your logic? Because at that point they're separate. Now I'm supporting the
Brian,
manager,
repeat that,
and now I'm
sorry.
not supporting.
Brian, repeat that. When you said the last bit.
So Pochettino, we supported Pochettino and Levy, so therefore we supported what Levy was doing with the club. When we saw the fracture in the relationship between Pochettino and Levy, and Pochettino he came out and said in the interviews, I'm now the coach, I'm no longer the manager, I don't have the control I have. I then supported Pochettino. He said specifically, we need to have a rebuild. So I supported that. Yeah, he's right. We need to have a rebuild. I then didn't support Levy at the same time. So you can separate supporting one and the other depending on what each one does separately from the other. They are not necessarily intertwined all the time. That's a bad argument. Whilst
Poch is there and he doesn't call out Levy and he doesn't say it as it is, you are still no, he never. You're still defending.
I'm the manager now. I'm no longer the what's going on with this club. We need a rebuild. You can only do so much. You can only do so much when you're employed by somebody and say something. He said it much like you would say something when he
Poch should have walked.
Yeah, walk away from all the money.
That's ridiculous.
That's
ridiculous.
Danny, go ahead and
you just walk.
You haven't talked in a while, and I'm sure you're eating up inside. So go ahead.
Look, I just wanted to say, right. So everyone knows I'm like as close as anything to Brian Daigle as there is to hating Levy. What I want to do to that man, I cannot say, right? But all I can say is that I don't like Levy. I'm going to back Nuno. But what I'm trying to say to you is if you were inside the stadium, how do you voice as a fan, 62,000 fans, how do you voice that you don't back Levy, but you back the manager? That's the question.
Sing a song for the coach and let him know with a song that you're supporting him and what he's doing with the team. That's it. And then say Levy out at the end of it.
Okay,
or this is very simple.
Well, that's
or you simply just sing a song about hating Daniel Levy and walk out. The whole 62,000 of you.
So how is that going to help back in Nuno when
What does that
he
have to do with
needs?
Nuno?
Oh, hold on. Nuno, right? So for a club to win, people need to be pulling in the same direction. The fans need to be pulling in the same direction so they can give the energy to the team and the energy to the manager so that they can
just spent a year and a half
help
of no
them to
fans
win.
in the stadium. So
Yeah, but,
obviously
look,
that's not true.
If you think fans are going to sit there going, no, and then they're going to go, Levy out.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
We're not going to do either.
Of course they're not.
Okay, so what's the right answer? What's the right answer here?
If you back the manager, you back the chairman. I'll give you the perfect example.
It's
Where's the manager?
He's one of our own. He's one of our own. Harry Kane, he's one of our own. Levy, you're a twat. They're not going to do that either.
That doesn't happen,
okay,
Brian.
let's say you're right. You guys have the right take, and it's all okay. The right path is now to what? Stop backing Nuno So when we go into the stadium and we want to watch our club play football, we're gonna not sing any songs about him, not do anything. Just what's the plan here for 2
Guys,
years?
can I ask you a
Are
question?
miserable.
Right, here's a question. You see Nuno, he's just taken the job at Tottenham. Yeah. Does he back the chairman for giving him the job?
I would, and if
Right
I
now,
was
of
him,
course
I would
he
say,
does.
yeah, you gave me a job for 2 years. Yes.
You want me to back a manager who backs the chairman?
Oh,
It goes
So
hand
we want
in
you to
hand.
back a manager
It goes
whose
hand in hand.
team you support.
Okay, so what is the right
Just like
thing
you
to do?
support the
We
players.
go in the stadium and watch be miserable for 2 years, and we'll just wait it out.
I don't blame Nuno, by the way. Can I make that clear? I don't blame Nuno. Nuno's a man that wants a job. He's going to get paid decent money for the job. I've got nothing. By the way, I've got nothing against Nuno. My issue is all with Levy. My point is this: if you back Nuno, you have to accept that you are backing the chairman at the same time.
You're not.
It's a false dichotomy, man.
For the
You're
fans,
putting
like,
any one or the other.
You're wrong. You can
the
say it
fans,
a
all
million
I'm gonna do
times,
is,
but
what's
you're
the
not
right
right.
choice?
Doesn't
What's the
make
right
a
choice?
But the manager's backing the chairman. That's why he's there. He backs the chairman. If you don't,
Can I
back the
just
chairman,
say something,
the
right?
chairman.
So what?
So why is he there?
In a situation,
So why is he
right?
there?
Hold on.
To coach
In
Tottenham
2 years'
Hotspur.
time, right? Tottenham finished 16th. Do you hate Nuno?
If it's his fault for
If
the
we
results,
didn't
yeah.
recruit
So
anyone,
then you hate me even more then.
We're not stupid, mate. You know, we know the difference between fucking sporting a manager who we're going to give a chance to and fucking sporting a manager who's not going to be fucking shit. Jose came in, we backed him. As soon as he started doing shit, I was on his fucking case. I know the fucking difference
They're not
between sporting a good manager and a shit manager.
they're not
Fuck's
mutually
sake.
exclusive.
But
It's really simple logic.
Levy is at the core of it. Levy is at the
Bizarre.
core of it. Levy will always be at the core of it.
Oh,
But it doesn't
I know that
mean
very
I
much.
support.
Okay,
I
hold
don't support my football team any less just because some fucking cunt in a fucking chairman because he's a fucking board. I still support Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Can I say?
Unless
This has been misunderstood, right? Let me clarify. let me clarify.
Yeah,
Because
your
I'm reading
wording
these
is way
comments.
off here because
I'm reading
what
these
you're saying
comments.
doesn't make any sense.
I'm reading these comments, and this
I'll be there at the protest.
Shamu Van Spur says, still wants us to go back to no manager. No. Let me clarify. I think this has been misunderstood. I will go on a match day and cheer the team on. I will sing
you
songs.
support Levy then.
I will sing songs. I will sing songs
Where that money goes, right?
to
Let him
back the
finish
man.
the statement. Yeah.
I will sing songs about Nuno if the team is doing well. I absolutely will. I don't back him being the manager of Tottenham because I don't believe he's the manager to take us where I want Tottenham to go. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. Still,
No,
that's enough now. Hey,
go,
one
go.
second, boys. One second,
for
boys. Boys, 1 second. I've been peaceful
that make
all
sense?
this time, and
Or
I've
is
been
it the same
listening
shit to you?
left and right. Still, be quiet for a second. I'm going to answer you straight, and Bob, I'm going to encourage you later. But right now, as far as I see it, right, people out there got opinions.
I got to go
They
bed.
got opinions, and they got some sort of like logic. They got some sort of rationale, or whatever it is. But not all fans are the same. Not all fans feel the same way about the club. They may be connected by the club, but they're not the same people, the same level of passion, the same geography. Look, I'm in London. I'm going to go every match day, but I'm going to be standing outside. These ticket holder guys, they're going to be standing inside. Now, what they do is up to them. How they do, what they do, how much they do is up to them. That's that person. I don't call the out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, what do I do? What am I going to do? This is what I believe in, and I'm going to say, this is what I'm doing, right? Telling someone that they're doing something right or wrong, when in their heart they believe the same as you, is the wrong way to unite the fans, Stelios.
I'm not here to unite the fans.
You have a brain.
I'm not
No,
here to
listen
unite the
me.
fans. I'm not a
You have-
politician.
No, I know you're not. But the thing
Logic
is,
doesn't
I
care
am.
about feelings.
I am. When it comes to the movement,
Get
which
out,
you're
ship
talking
in,
about,
ship you go.
I am here to unite.
I never mentioned
You're
the
in the
movement.
movement,
I never mentioned the movement.
but you're talking about it. You're
No,
talking
I'm not.
about Levy.
No, that's not a
Levy
movement.
is a movement.
No, he's not.
Oh,
It's
God.
Can I say something because I've been listening as well, and
Everyone's
still,
right.
still, the problem I have, right, is the fact that you are putting, you're saying how, you know, backing the manager is backing the chairman, right? But you're still okay to support the players and support the fans. But according to your logic, as Bob said, as you said that, you're backing the chairman. You are putting an arbitrary line in the sand and calling it concrete. Because you're saying that everyone below that is okay. So you're okay to support the players, you're okay to support the badge and the history, but once you get to my line in the sand, you are backing the chairman. But according to your logic, it's all the same. It's just where you put the line in the sand, mate. And you're saying it as if it's factual and it's completely arbitrary.
Maybe you're right. Ginty, maybe you're right, yeah. That's what I was trying to clarify.
It's an opinion.
Maybe my explanation wasn't clear enough. But yeah, I am drawing the line. Ginty, I agree with what you just said.
But it's 100%. It's completely arbitrary. It's completely subjective to you, mate. And you were coming at it with people, and you were saying it as if it was fact, mate. But it's your opinion.
I'm just happy.
Everything I say is my opinion, Ginty.
Do you get what I mean? Some people.
You presented it almost as a fact, though.
Yeah, you're.
Don't get sucked in, then. Don't get sucked in. It's just my opinion. I don't know what to say.
That's why. Hey, listen, I'm not upset with you. Still, I still love you, man. We're all good, brother. I'm calm enough. I'm not boy.
Bobby, go to
I'm not going to call you boring and jump off the
I'm
screen.
upset because he's not my favorite channel no more.
But listen. I got to read the super chat here. Nuno's objective is to win as many games as possible with what he's given by Paratici, and that's how I feel fans should view it. Levy outside, and we've also got another one here from Dermot Moyle saying, "Feel a bit let down, but I will back the new manager because I love the club." Levy out, Enoch out. Great show. Keep up the great work. And then my point to what Stella was saying, I think the difference is you're saying the way you just described it again the second time after you saw Shamu's comment was completely different tone than what you were saying before. Your and Danny's angle before was, if you support Nuno, you therefore support Daniel Levy. The two are entwined, right? Inseparable. Anyway. Doesn't matter any circumstance. If you say, I'm happy about Nuno appointed, you're a Levy lover and you're going down, right? That's the way the first half of your thing was taken, which is completely.
That's why I clarified, because I was beginning to see how it was being perceived. So I thought, hold on, let me clarify. So I agree with you, Will. I agree.
The second half of it was perfectly acceptable. If you personally, hey, look, for me, the two are entangled. For me, it's one and the same. Therefore, this is where my line is. Boom. It's totally cool.
I'll be honest with you. I'm just trying to drive the entertainment value so you get more subscribers. If I'm going to be
work. Super chat those come in when these notes.
Let's go.
If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so, because we're all a bunch of losers, and you can be a loser with us. Love
all of you. I'm going bed.
Cheers, Bobby. Be well, buddy.
Bye, Bob.
Good night, Bob.
Good night.
Soon, buddy, man. Look after yourself, Bob. Look after yourself.
Be safe, Bob. Don't overdo it.
You shouldn't be on here, Bobby. It's bad for your health, man.
Fucking Tottenham Hotspur.
Tottenham's bad for your health. What are you saying?
But if you don't hit subscribe, you are a Levy lover. I am making that assertion right there.
Guys, can I now answer Ginty's point, that question that he asked me before my audio went everywhere?
Oh yeah,
Ginty, you asked.
I don't even remember. What was the question?
It was like
I remember it. But could you ask it again, just in case everyone's forgotten?
I don't think he remembers it.
He doesn't remember.
I do. I do.
You do.
Don't
Good for you.
worry. Yeah. So it was the fact that there was better managers out there who are currently out of work, and we have appointed Nuno. What ambition or intention does this show from the club and Levy?
I do as well.
And I was trying to answer the question earlier. I said to you that basically, from my point of view, Levy's central character is a bit narcissistic. He thinks about himself in his image. So from his point of view, he's waved his hand and said, "It's called benevolence. I let you have this. I let you have this." Paratici says, "I want this. I let you have it." So first of all, the feeders are coming out. He is against it, and now all of a sudden he's waving his hand, saying, "I let you have it." So as far as I'm concerned, is like, let's just take advantage of the fact that we have a Premier League, proven manager. Let's just take it on. I support him. He's got a really nice bid. I saw the ambition of the club. It's the same. They just want to make money. They don't care about.
Hasn't changed.
Hasn't changed. Nothing changed there. Nothing. Not one little iota. Their ambition is to make more property. That's their ambition. Danny's all right on that one all the time.
Gotta wait it out.
The playing is concerned, as far as the playing is concerned, as me as a fan watching football, which is what I love to do. Forget the politics to one side. Watching the game, I'm excited because I want Nuno to come in and do a 3-4-3. Let's just do it. Kane stays, drops deep, 4-3. It's beautiful for him. I can't wait. honestly. Bring in some players, get rid of some deadwood. I'm excited on that side of it because you got two people, Paratici and a manager, against Levy. You got a possibility of a stalemate. Whereas before, it was just the manager versus him, and he had everyone in his pocket. Whereas now you've got two outside influences coming in.
You forget something. If Levy doesn't agree with them, bye-bye. See you later. Fuck off.
No,
that makes sense in his pocket if he wants to be. But
but
it's going to cost him money to do it, though.
No, but you don't care. You don't care.
Listen to me.
He sacked Mourinho 16 for a final, and he sacked Pochettino, who's paying him off for over a year.
Listen to me. What I see is this, right? Yeah, is that you got two people. One is Portuguese, one is Italian, right? Okay, so you got two different people. If you start rocking the boat, rumors will start coming out in those countries, and then they'll float back here, right? That's how it works, right? Whenever you piss anyone off, right, the rumor mill starts working, but it starts from their original country.
Mr. K,
so we're going to find that out. If he starts messing around, we're going to get double waves him. So he's put himself in a sticky position. If he has to tread carefully now. So he's leaving them alone to it. So I'm happy with that.
Was Argentinian.
Whatever
Portuguese.
gets for the
I
money,
got to read
right,
this though before it disappears. There must be a we win despite you, Daniel Levy chant somewhere. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
put it in the comments. Somebody create it, please.
And Brian, maybe you can write a song for us.
I'll write it. I'm down. It'll be a drum and bass.
I'll think anything about Tottenham winning and Levy out. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
because you don't want to be. I've never been one to want to see my club lose just to get Daniel Levy out. That's never been my position. It'll never be my.
Can someone? Can someone? If someone knows, obviously a lot of you will know. I'm 22. I started supporting the Spurs in 2008. That's basically as far as my Spurs knowledge goes. Can someone tell me how Alan Sugar became not the chairman anymore? Because how do we actually get Daniel Levy out? How's that actually a real possibility?
Different situation.
Okay, but could someone tell me? I don't know.
Levy owns 30% of the club.
No. He owns 30% of ENIC.
Of ENIC. Sorry, that's what I mean. Of ENIC, who owns the club. So he's the chairman of the club. He's hired by the club and hired by the company that he owns 30% of.
Should I tell you how we got him out?
Much different. Yeah, please do so.
Tell me, I would love to know. I've been
much different situation than we're in right now.
Young.
First of all, it began when Terry Venables was manager, and there was financial wrongdoings going on, and everyone turned against Alan Sugar because Terry Venables was a very popular manager. He won us the cup in '91, but it turned out that Venables was actually the one that was doing the wrongdoing, and Sugar was right to get him out. So I want to make this very clear. When it came to the financials of Tottenham, Sugar was bang on the money. He was a very shrewd businessman. And Sugar was the guy that did The Apprentice in the UK. I know you had Trump in America. We had Sugar. They're two different people, though. Sugar's highly respected in this country as a businessman. But because he was too businesslike, he wasn't prepared to, funnily enough, invest.
Sound familiar?
And fans got fed up with it. And they wanted him out because we just weren't winning no more, and we bought a lot of shit players in the 90s. We're a very, very mediocre club, and coming off the 80s, which weren't too bad, the 90s were pretty shocking to say the least.
But it's because we're trying to recover from the financial debt that Scholar put us in the first place. That's
like
what
I said,
trying to do.
Financially, you can't knock him. He saved the club. So
he saved the club.
We needed Sugar at the time.
But we did.
The reason he left was because the hate, the protest, the anger towards him became so personal, it affected his family life, and he said, right, I don't need this anymore. And Daniel Levy was a supporter of the club at the time. He was part of the network.
Box. It's ENIC owned a box, I think.
So he found someone that was prepared to buy the club, and the club back then was no way the price it is today. That's how we got him out. So how'd you get Levy out? Same thing.
Can I correct that just a little bit?
A lot harder though, Stel.
There's a little bit difference in that in the fact that ENIC bought Tottenham Hotspur in pieces. They didn't buy it at one time.
Yeah,
correct.
They invested
over
it
time.
first.
Yeah.
And then they took more. Then they took a majority, and then they did that because as Sugar was having his problems, so they had their fingers in Tottenham Hotspur before Sugar left, right? As chairman.
ENIC owned a number of football clubs: Glasgow Rangers, Sparta Prague.
They bought a few of them. Yeah.
The difference now.
Dynamo Zagreb too. Didn't they have a piece of that? We all know who they are.
The only difference now, the only real difference now is the fans were united for change back then. Now the fans are so all over the shop, man. We want Levy out, but we're happy Nuno's here. We're going to back him. Or we want Jose out. No, we want Jose in. No, it's the manager's fault. No, it's Hitchin's fault. No. We can't compete with Chelsea, Man City.
It's true. The fans are not united.
The fans
That's the
are to
problem.
blame.
Twitter and the internet will ruin any fan base. Let's be honest about it. See
Now,
what's
Brian, you're
happening.
probably
What's
right.
happened down,
Basically-
see what's happened down the road.
I got to answer this question. This question. And Stel, you gave this trigger warning earlier. You can't offend me personally, right? And even if you were to call me like a bald twat, I wouldn't even care, right? So
Just words.
I'm going to say something here that is going to piss off a lot of people.
Do it.
I don't care if you're a season ticket holder to Tottenham Hotspur, to Lady Gaga, whoever you are. It doesn't make you more of a fan than someone who can't be a season ticket holder.
Correct.
Guarantee you, I spend more money a year on the club than you did before I was Enoch out annually. You see the stuff behind me? Like when I get into something, I spend a lot of money on it, right? Guaranteed you. I spent thousands, $2,000 to $3,000 a year on Tottenham merchandise. A year. I have it all day. Okay? I don't care if you're a season ticket holder or not. It doesn't make you smart. It means you bought a ticket.
It's about the same amount. You spend about the same amount a year on your gear than people spend on a season ticket. Probably even more. Yeah,
you can afford a ticket.
Probably twice that.
A lot of fans can't afford a season ticket, so I agree with you, Will.
So I'm tired of hearing that I'm a season ticket holder, therefore. Bleh.
Therefore, X.
Well, it's not just that, Will. You got to pay. You have to pay for your expensive TV. Or to watch on TV, basically.
TV services.
Yeah, your services.
Cheap here in Canada, thankfully, but poor Will down south.
Look at these comments. Look at this comment. Will, these are the fans.
Talking about cheap. Listen, guys, I got to go. Sorry, guys, I got to say good night.
Cheers,
to
Mr.
everyone.
K. Pleasure.
See ya.
Cheers,
Good night,
Mr. K,
everyone.
man.
Viewers out there, could you please like and subscribe if you possibly can? That'd be very nice. Good night, everyone. Good night, Will.
Cheers, Mr. K.
Cheers.
Well, I got to do this without ending the stream, right? Okay.
Don't hit the wrong button.
Oh, no.
Look at this comment.
Just hit leave, buddy. Just hit leave. It's at the bottom.
Can you get the Magnificent Miz up, Will?
Magnificent Whiz.
12-16.
No disrespect.
Yeah. Just explain to me our fan base with that. Listen, I can take that. I take much worse on Twitter, believe me. But I don't care because my Twitter account keeps growing every month. So I'm reaching out to some people that like what I say. But this, I'm a hypocrite and a cancer to the club. How?
You're not.
How, man?
How is that even a thing?
That's weird. That's weird. I would say that your argument earlier was slightly hypocritical in the argument itself.
It was irrational.
But a cancer to the club is an absurd statement. And Magnificent Miz, I'm sorry, mate, and I'm glad you're here to watch us ramble on, but that's hyperbole and disrespectful to somebody who's been arguably one of the biggest fans of the club for as long as he's been. So maybe rethink your how you're gonna just describe something. Hypocritical to some extent, yes, and I think most of us are to some extent. So you know that it's just a shitty thing to say, which is and completely untrue. It's not even close to remotely true.
I want to make sure that I clear it up with him too before he
bails. And again, I was trying to be nice about that one.
Yeah. Great. My point was that the worst. That was the worst. And right now, wait.
That was worse than it was.
My point was that was the worst. That was worse than it is right now. Look, and listen, I'm okay. But what I'm saying is, instead of appealing to your season ticket holder status as your authority of how your opinion is valid or not, just give your opinion, man. Your opinion's valid on its own. You don't need the precursor. You don't need the precursor of I've been a fan for 30 years or I'm a season ticket holder. That doesn't add any weight to your knowledge of football.
That's just a life thing, though, mate.
It's an appeal to experience. It's like, I've done this, therefore I know more than you. It's not valuable evidence in any situation.
They have to do that.
Oh, do you know what?
Feel like they have honestly, to say, I have this credential, so let me.
Do you know, just say something, right? The amount of season ticket holders I see in the stadium have got no fucking clue what they're talking about when it comes to football. Honestly, I see people around me when the season before last, when we were in the stadium, right? I'll get people and the way they talk about football, like, they talk about players that are not even on the pitch and they think they're there. And it's like, do you know who that is, mate? That's Sissoko. They think it's a completely different person. And it's honestly, it blows your mind how unbelievably blind some of the season ticket holders are in that stadium. It's ridiculous. They're the people who are the problem.
Don't you have to wait like years on years on years to get a season ticket?
Yeah, but there's still a bunch of corporate seats, right? And those corporate seats go to people who are in the neighborhood. It's like the same in the US and Canada.
Yeah, it is.
You've got corporate boxes, you got corporate seats. A company will own the seats and they'll just give them to their employees, and their employees will travel and they'll go here and they'll go there and they'll end up in the seat and they'll be watching with their hat on and their flag and they'll be like, "Woo! I have no idea why I'm hearing what I'm cheering for." And that's common now. That's pretty much in sport now. It's really hard to avoid, unfortunately, but that's the reality of the situation. So,
but
you're going to have a stadium.
Do you still have do you have that in Tottenham where you can pass it down? So like if your granddad had a season ticket, then
probably certain seats you do.
So probably the dad was great, loved the Tottenham, really was into it, and then his son takes it, and he kind of just goes to casual fan.
I can give you my season ticket. I can go online now and do a season ticket transfer to your name. They'll do an ID check on both of us to confirm, and then literally within 24 hours, my season ticket is now yours.
I'll give you £1.
I might give it to you.
I'll fly over there.
If we don't get rid of the players. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one thing about fans that I've noticed since we've been doing these YouTube.
Sell. Don't give it to him. Give it to me, and then I sell it to guys here in the U.S. for like 300 pounds a game. Talking about.
That's so true.
Well, I'll do you a deal then. We can do it on my one. I
think we got to talk after the show's over, folks. I think we got an idea. We'll set up.
I've noticed with these doing these Spurs shows.
Will's a smart man.
I think whether it's American sports that's done it, like American football and baseball, whatever, but there's a hell of a lot more stats, analysis, assessment on a technical numbers level in American sports amongst the fan base than what I've noticed with the UK fans in football. And I just find when you chat to people like Will, Jack Kanicki, and others, they come at you with numbers and substance to what they say on a factual, financial, or statistical level. Much better than the British fans.
Data.
And I've noticed, data, well done. And when you go to the stadium...
It sounds so weird him saying it like that. Say it again.
Analytics.
Data.
All baseball now.
Data. Because I grew up watching Short Circuit. It's like data, more data. And then when you go to the stadium, you're right. There's a lot of thick fans. I don't care. I'll say it. But I've noticed with the American fans, I think they're just more analytical because of the sports they've grown up on. And I've noticed that with the American and the Canadian fans, there's a difference. There's a difference there.
You know what I think, though? I think it's just smart people who know how to back up what they're saying.
I would argue, though, the analytics...
Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Because... Like, for example, like last year, the Dodgers, Los Angeles Dodgers, we were in the World Series, and the other team, the pitcher, Blake Snell, he was just destroying us. He was absolutely lighting us up. But the analytics told him at this point in the game, this is when you need to take Blake Snell out of the game. And Blake Snell was walking off the mound like, "You're taking me out. I'm popping off right now." The only reason that manager made a decision is because the analytics say at this point, a pitcher of his status starts to fall off and starts giving off runs. And so he took him out. And everyone was just on Twitter. Twitter was going crazy. Like, how could you take Blake Snell off? He was throwing like a madman. And the whole thing was like analytics. So I do believe in America, it's definitely more analytic driven, but it's definitely 100%. Hurtful. You still have to read the room.
I disagree a little bit. I disagree a little bit because there are a lot of idiot fans out there too that like support the Boston Red Sox for like 40 years when they haven't won anything and they were a horrible team for 95% of the time.
You're talking about Tottenham, me, Camden.
I was about to say, where are you going with that one, man?
Well, I think it's cultural based on the sports that they watch and how they watch those sports. Like baseball specifically is very stats driven. American football very stats driven.
Yeah,
even hockey to some extent, less so because it's such a fast game and there's a lot of things that can happen within it and the speed that it's in, which is closer to football. But the way they watch it and how they watch it, it's slow. They have time to think about it. They have time to talk about each play, what's about to happen next, because it isn't popping off. It isn't happening on a regular basis.
And it's the punditry too. I think it's the
the pundits have to have something to say during the commercial break or during the moment when they're changing the pitcher breaks. And they're throwing their warm up pitches for 10 minutes.
No, I've noticed
the next pitcher comes on. They have to have something to talk about.
Like watching basketball and football and American football and baseball and stuff like that, that when you watch like ESPN shows on those things, it's all about statistics. You know, this season, how many yards he's gotten, this, that, or other thing. And then you watch ESPN FC, and you get to somebody like, you know, I don't know, Stevie Nickel, and he's like, XG, focus stats are ridiculous, and I mean, you know, like they're
well, those are all the
the
failed English, potentially English commentators. They couldn't make it in England, so they wanted to sound legit, so they came to the US and Canada to sound legit. We've got them in Canada too.
Do you know what's funny though? See how you were saying commercials, man. It's so hilarious when the Super Bowl is on the BBC, the British Broadcasting Channel, because they can't have adverts because of TV license. The two guys who do the American Super Bowl, I feel so sorry for them, because every time it cuts to a commercial, they have to cut to that studio, and it's about 50 times they cut to that studio, and you just feel like saying, after about 30 times, what left they've got to talk about?
What are they going to say? Yeah.
Oh, it's like, it must have been an absolute nightmare, man, to do that job.
I think that's what it is about statistics. It's like, what else are we going to talk about? So they just dig into that situation, and like, there's this, we could talk about this statistic, this, what's the last time this situation, similarly to the situation we're in now, came up, and let's compare it, and let's talk about it for 15 minutes before the next
thing. And baseball is a fairly boring game. There's a lot of dead space in baseball.
Yeah, gotta fill it.
And I mean, batters walking up to the plate, tapping their shoes, doing whatever, you know, getting signs, stepping out of the box. And I think where it comes from is the history is, you know, it was baseball announcers on radio, and they were having to talk the whole time. And there was not action. It's not continual action like it is in European football, right? It's just stop, go. So he'd have to come up with content. So he's always talking about, you know, this particular batter has done, has had this many RBIs, and his hit percentage is this, and you know, he's going over the stats of that particular player.
Stepped up to the plate during blah blah blah. You know, it's really like long.
His last at bat, he had you know, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Is it like cricket where fans just go to get smashed in the stands and just it's like a day out?
Yeah. Baseball,
100. I can tell you.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what cricket is.
There for the beer and the hot dog. I guarantee it.
Basically the same, except for there's like a small group that are like right around the plate who have good seats, who wear the hats. Been there for years, you know, similarly to most places. But yeah, I mean, it's a day out. It's a day out eating hot dogs and popcorn and peanuts and getting pissed.
Especially for baseball, because baseball tickets are pretty cheap, you know, maybe $50-$60.
Yeah, right? So there's like 100 odd games, really? Something crazy. Yeah, because there's like 180 games or something like that, man.
Yeah,
it's almost all year. Yeah.
I mean, they might like it. St. Louis, it's St. Louis Cardinal Stadium. They have a standing only section, and those tickets are $22.
What?
You have to stand the whole time.
Super cheap.
Yeah, because they know they make all their money from the. It's like
from the
$20 for a beer.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Except up to the 7th inning stretch, and then you can walk into that standing only section for free for every home game.
So to change the subject, you know, earlier on when Danny went on that rant and he just lost it, yeah. And I was saying, Danny, I want to add something to it, and then Will stepped in because everyone started talking over each other. I just want to go back 45 minutes.
What was he even ranting about?
He was going in on
Lee.
About his ambition and the direction of the club that was set. And this is kind of partly why I struggle to get behind this whole appointment of Nuno, because the appointment of Nuno to me signals the plan, and a 2-year contract signals the plan, and should I say the lack of a plan. You know, when you go and do your no coach, by the way, on this planet, even the greatest coaches on earth, when you go into that coaching room and you start learning your trade, never, once, ever are you ever taught how to rebuild. No one teaches you how to be a rebuild coach. You go in there to learn how to develop players and how to collectively create a team that can be successful. So
just to be the coach.
Correct. So when you get a job at a club, whether it's 5-year-old kids, semi-pro, academy, elite, international, your job as a coach is to meet the expectations set out to you by the person that's employed you. So when Pep went to Man City, he was told, you've got to be winning the league. We want the Champions League. Just keep winning trophies. And we want sexy, amazing football. That's his remit. When Klopp went to Liverpool, it was, can you bring the Premier League back to this club? It's been 30 years. So every manager's got a target. Some managers go in, just make sure we don't get relegated, keep us up. Or can you get us into the top? So when a manager comes to Tottenham, no manager comes here and they're told, oh, we're going to do a rebuild. And this is what I mean about fans being lazy. All it takes is one person to tweet, "We need a rebuild," and that becomes popular, fans just circulate that, and then it becomes a term, a rebuild. We need a There's no such thing, guys. There's no such thing as a rebuild. There's just a job to achieve a particular target. So Nuno's job, I think, he's been told, can you get us top 4? Can you get us back into the Champions League? So he's coming in to get us that. That's not a rebuild because you can do that in one season, top 4. We only missed it by 5 points last year. So technically, there's no rebuild needed. If you want to win the Premier League, then that's probably a 3-4 year plan. It's not a rebuild though. So I just wanted to touch on it because I see fans talking about it and it's not quite right.
I get where you're coming from, right? I think it's just like I think what people misunderstand maybe is the fact that when Poch said those words, "We need a rebuild." At that time, we were on the grasp of challenging for. We were touching distance of the biggest titles in England and in Europe.
Danny, did he say rebuild, or did he say we need the right furniture for the?
No. He actually has in another conversation, another interview. He said, "We need to rebuild. We need a new project."
Yeah,
he kept saying about we need a new project, but
said it over and over again.
So fans grabbed hold of that. So fans grabbed hold of that.
Because what his version of a rebuild, in my opinion, is that he is a new plan. He said it himself. He said it the year before. The year before the Champions League run, right, that season, the year before that, he started saying, we need to start having a new vision. We need to start like being brave against the big clubs because we need to start. Basically, he's trying to say, what I got from it, we need to compete with them. Otherwise, we're going to fall away.
We need to recycle the players and move in new players and get rid of the other ones and rebuild it.
Yeah, that season before the Champions League, he was in that season, he was saying we need to do the rebuild because that was when we moved into the stadium. And we'd moved in, but we hadn't got to the final yet. And he was saying we need to do a rebuild. And Gary Lineker was even in that interview was saying to him, and that's it was basically saying, is this actually what you mean by a rebuild? And he started talking about the furniture and we have a nice home, but no furniture. And he was like, yeah, we do need a rebuild because.
Danny, do you know what? I hear what you're saying. I get it now. I think this is him trying to give an analogy, and when giving the analogy, he's used the word rebuild, but there's no such thing as an actual rebuild. And I tell you why, because he might say, we need to rebuild 3-4 years, but you might outperform what your expectations are, and you end up doing it in 1 year. Is that still a rebuild, or is it just?
It's a recycle is more than it is a rebuild.
Or you had a schedule of the plan.
Okay, so I need to read this, and then I need to ask Cody a question. He says, so AJ has Nuno been asked about Kane, guys? I do believe that in his response, he said that he hopes to keep Harry Kane there next year. But Cody, are you going to be here for a while or no?
I can be here for a bit. What do you want to eat?
Yeah, 15 minutes. Dinner time for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to eat.
So I'm going to jump out. I can still throw things up on my phone, but you're on the backside, right? Or are you on your phone?
Yeah, no, I'm on my computer.
All right, cool. I will be back in 15 minutes and keep. I just want to kill the conversation if other people want.
I might be gone, Will. I might be gone, but yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to bounce off for right now. I will be back if you guys are still here. If not, that's cool too. But I'll see you guys in a few before my wife kills me.
Bye, Will.
See you, Will.
So what are we talking about?
Cody's been in the comments. Cody's been in the comments the whole time. He knows exactly what we're talking about.
Actually, I really don't. I really don't anymore.
Oh no, yeah, it did get off the rails on a few occasions, but I think we're back. We're back to the original conversation.
Cody just sits there dropping grenades in the background, man.
We were actually.
You know I want to know. I just want to know, like, what is the definition of backing the manager?
Oh no!
We went over. This was just a disaster.
But can we actually define it in like 2 sentences?
Backing the manager. Okay. Wanting him to succeed. Wanting him to succeed.
My definition is I approve of him being the manager of the club, of the team. There is
the reason that there's been this clusterfuck of an argument going on because there's a different definition of what backing the manager means to each person, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, when I hear the term backing the manager, I think I want the manager to win.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want him to win.
But that's
you
the
add
end
extra,
goal,
you
right?
add extra
That's the end-
caveat to that.
The end goal,
remember.
the end goal, because you're putting it, you're giving sort of the label of wanting to win. You need to elaborate on that because everyone wants fucking Tottenham to win. Backing a manager, everyone wants Tottenham to win. So, in your definition, what do you believe actually backing the manager? Forget wanting to win. So, how do you win by backing the manager? That's the question. So what does someone like an owner need to do to give the manager the ability to win?
Yes, but now you're talking about what the meaning of backing the manager means from the perspective of ownership as opposed to the perspective of the supporter.
Of being a fan. Yeah,
fan.
two different,
Right?
two
It's such
different,
a complicated,
two different
it's such a
questions.
complicated
Am I going to
question.
stand in the stadium shouting, No, we want you out. We want Nuno out. No, I'm not. Of course, I'm not. Not at all.
Yeah.
Because I want the club. I want us to succeed. I always want us to succeed. It was I that had the debate with Cody a couple of months ago that said I want trophies ahead of top four. Cody and I had that debate. So because I want us to succeed, and I see success as trophies. But do I approve of Nuno being the manager and I see a plan here that's going to take us forward, or do I see another 2 years being wasted? I see 2 years wasted. That's why I can't back it.
I
just
kind
don't
of
You
back
have
it.
no faith. You have no
all I
faith
wanted
in
to
Nuno
do-
having the
all I
ability
wanted to
do anything with this club.
All I want
not
to
for
do
where I
was
want us to go. No,
understand.
I don't.
See the difference of opinion between what Stelios was
Sorry,
saying
man.
and what Bobby
Sorry.
was saying is the difference in opinion of what the word backing means. That really is why you guys. I think you guys
Definitions
are on
matter.
the same page. Exactly, definitions and semantics, right?
Yeah.
So, but we don't have to rehash that because
No, that was Tim.
What I
That was
wanted to
aggressive.
ask. Well, I wanted to ask one more thing from Danny and Stel is that let's just say hypothetical that everyone did agree exactly what you thought, that if you did clarify earlier, but what you said about before that was if you back Nuno, you back Levy. Okay, so what? I know that you clarified
say
that.
it like that.
I know. He clarified it later. I forgot exactly what he said. But what would have been the right steps for the fans in the stadium? So if you don't, what I'm saying is like, what would they have to do? Do we go in there and just sort of stay on the fence like, oh, well, I don't want to back Levy, but I want this team to do well. So are we singing his name? Are we happy in the stadium? Are we just sitting there for 2 years waiting for Poch, hoping? What would be the –
As soon as fans say things like, and most fans have said it now, I will get behind my manager. I will back him. You're not going to hear Levy out chance. That's
You
gone.
won't. You're
not going to hear anything.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, so then, okay.
What
I
they'll do is
actually
they'll
agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
But if we go, I promise you that's what will happen. But if we go on a really bad run, you're going to hear the Levy out chance and you're going to hear the Nuno out chance.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Okay, so is the solution here just to
If
maybe...
Gattuso became manager, it would have gone toxic from day one because no one supports anything.
No one wants a bigot
nothing
running their club.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess I lost my train of thought there, but so I forget what I was going to say, but
that's what Tottenham does to you, mate.
If you're going to support the manager, right? Like the point is to support the manager during a game when the game is happening, and then the decisions that the club's making and how they affect the manager's choices, and is the manager making those similar choices? You have to determine based on what we know and based on what we're seeing that's happening within the club to try to make a reasonable decision, and it's a really difficult one to do. But I do think they can be separated. You can support the manager, and I made the argument earlier, and I think it's a sound argument when it comes to the difference between supporting Poch when things were going wrong and not supporting the Levy in that same situation. So they're not mutually exclusive necessarily. I do get the overlap in certain situations, guys, Estelle and Danny. And I do think there's times when that it gets muddy, like the waters are muddied slightly because it's really hard to determine which one is going to determine what's good for the club and what's not good for the club. And so it's up to us as fans to try to figure out like what do we value? How much do we value this part of it? How much do we value that? When it came to, again, what happened with Pochettino, it was like, I value what Pochettino is saying. He's been saying this for a while. I support him. What Levy's doing right now is wrong. And then he just sacked the manager we all love. So there's a moment when you can separate the two, and we can, as a fan base, make those decisions based on what happens. Right now, we have to support the manager because we want the club to do well. We want the team to do well. We want to keep some of our players. If he fails miserably, we have to accept that he's failing, and then we have to figure out where we are at that moment. And that's going to change. That's going to change.
I'm hoping our fans set. I mean, I don't want this to be a forever mentality that we're just whatever happens. But like I said this earlier in the show that we could go almost have an identical season last year, and we're all going to throw fit how Nuno is so bad, and how Daniel Levy is bad, and get Nuno out, get Levy out. At what point?
That's likely, by the way.
Right, I know that's what I'm saying. It's almost gonna. I can always
get ready for it.
At what point do we get a manager we all like? Let's say we get him, whatever. That manager is eventually going to go through a tough spell, just like Poch did. We loved him. He went through a very tough spell in the league. He got sacked. And we had Poch outers. Do we maybe just have to stick through that really hard point with the club?
We should have done.
We should have done that we get on the other side.
But that's not going to happen. But that's not going to happen.
No, but
Ian,
can I explain it? So I'll answer you, man. Right. So the problem is, right, that you're trying to find consensus with 60,000+ people that are going to be there, right? That's going to be difficult. And also, fans are fickle, all right? And
what you're
going to have, but what you're going to have, right, is you're going to have that the trigger point is always going to get less, you know? So as Poch got sacked, right, we were pretty bad for quite a few months, but because of the reputation has passed, he was given more time.
And the Champions League run,
the cup papered over a few cracks, but we took all the way down to 14th before we finally, and it was like 3 wins in like 12 games. So until he was finally sacked, right? Jose was finally sacked. I feel that if Nuno goes in a very bad run for like a month or two, it's going to start to be Levy out, Enoch out, Nuno out. Right. It's going to the trigger point is going to be quicker, okay? And that's also the problem I have with this is that those fickle fans that are going to be like, okay, new season, back the manager. If Nuno does well between this period, between now and that NFL process, that's only like a few months, man. It's only like the first 3 months of the season. Okay. If he does well at that point,
it's so frustrating.
Yeah. So, but like, I genuinely feel that is going to be less. You know, it's going to be as many people that are turned out compared to the shit show. We kept having a shit show, so it's.
It will muddy the waters again, Jitty. That's what
it will really nullify it. Man.
It ends up happening.
If he goes in a bad run, say September. Say if he just starts terribly. If we start poor, man, then
he'll be out. He'll be out in November. He'll be gone. Yeah. Okay, it'll be Ryan Mason as an interim and back where we started.
So what manager do you guys think we need to get through that hard spell, and maybe we make it on the other side?
Do you want me to tell you your honest opinion?
The way I see it is just a circle. Like,
this is where I agree with Stell and Danny 100%. It isn't the manager in this case. It is a change of how the
Daniel Levy manager,
how the club functions, because that's the issue, right? And we all know that, right? And again, I don't know why the argument even exists. I think most of us would agree that Daniel Levy's the problem. It's just that he's not going anywhere anytime soon. I still want to support the club. I still want to watch Tottenham Hotspur play football. So I'm going to back the manager and the players and the people who are running the football side of things, because it's what I care about. Am I going to be happy with the decisions that the club make? Fuck no. I think it's a fucking disaster. But I still want to. There's a season coming up. I still want to spend the weekend with my mates at the pub, pounding some pints and watching Tottenham play. Am I going to be miserable the entire time? I can't be. I can't deal with that. Fuck.
Would you take relegation this season to get Enoch out?
Oh God, that's for yours. I'll let somebody. I got to think about that for a second.
That is.
Do you know what? Right, I tell you one thing. Right, I'll be honest with you. None of us here want to see Tottenham relegated. Right?
No, I don't think
that's
so.
The start. Now, if it meant getting Levy out, the problem you've got is then okay, right? In a hypothetical
who gets us back into the Premier League?
Right, but the thing is, Brian, this is what I was going to elaborate on. Right, so in a hypothetical situation, Tottenham get relegated. Enoch leave because they can't afford to run the club anymore. They need to sell it, right? Who comes in? It could be someone that is worse and doesn't want to.
The grass is always greener.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it could be someone worse. I'm not saying it's going to be, but I'm saying it could be. So if it was, then we're even more fucked. We're going to end up like Leeds United. So
I said that last time.
This is the problem. This is the problem. So,
Okay. Let me ask you something, Danny. Okay, so
I wouldn't want to see them get relegated personally.
When Alan Sugar sold the club,
people were saying the same thing.
Things were getting pretty toxic, pretty ugly with the fans. And as you mentioned before, Stelios, one of the driving factors between Sugar wanting to wash his hands of the club was the fact that it was starting to affect his family life and his wife and everything like that. It was getting very, very ugly.
Nobody wants to see, by the way. It's awful.
Would you want it? Would you that's my question. What would you want it to get to that point in order to get Daniel Levy out of the club?
No.
How far are you willing to go?
No, I never want it to turn nasty.
Okay. I accept that, and I agree. Right. So we've ruled out getting rid of Levy the same way that we got rid of Sugar. Okay. So now let me ask you this: what does Daniel Levy value the most in this world? No, don't wait. No. I'm
let him finish.
What does Daniel Levy value above all else? Danny Kiriakou.
We all know what that is, Cody. You don't mean if you answer that.
His family.
Right. Now, you guys made. Well, the idea is the implied answer is money. So you guys were making the argument before that somehow backing the manager was supporting Daniel Levy. But if every season ticket holder decides that they are going to renew in perpetuity based on the logic that you used in that argument, that keeps the coffers for Daniel Levy full. So how is that not supporting Daniel Levy?
Not really.
But supporting the manager by definition that we discussed earlier in terms of.
Right, no, but Cody, you made this point in another when you were in the chat of a previous stream where people were talking about this boy not selling money. ENIC have the ticket sales. You said, if I can remember correctly, is 13.7% of ENIC's income. So actually,
it's a little more than that.
That's a lot of money.
You've countered your own point. Do you know what I mean? Because your whole point when you said that was that he's removed. When the next sentence, hopefully I don't quote you wrong, was that ENIC have removed the ticket sales as going to affect them.
They're trying to reduce the club's dependence on football revenues by diversifying revenue streams. Yes, that's true.
Other places
but
to make
optically
money.
speaking, do you think that it would not become untenable for them as owners if you had an empty stadium? Which I know will never happen. Like really in reality, we have to be honest with ourselves.
Cody,
probably the only way to get rid of him is going with that nuclear option, the way that they got rid of Sugar. That's really going to be the only way that we end up getting him out.
That's what Stel said. Yeah, you're right. That is literally the only way. You have,
or we hit rock bottom as a club.
We hit rock bottom.
Yeah,
we have
or
to.
that.
But you see how I was.
Can I just say something, right?
Go for it.
I don't think if Tottenham were to hit rock. Also, what do you define rock bottom? Getting relegated? Because if that's rock bottom, I still don't see Tottenham selling. ENIC selling Tottenham if they get relegated. They just won't because they make too much. They just won't because they've got other things like you just said they're trying to use to depend on to make money, like the concerts and
the stadium. The stadium
and they're going to have a hotel. They're going to get probably naming rights on a hotel. They're going to have a sports center with a bloody diving pool and all this crap. They're not going to sell it.
But when it go hand in hand though. Right, but see, because how you were talking about, I don't want us to get relegated, right? And you're talking about what if it's going to get even worse. But the problem is, man, their whole thing about the business is also shooting themselves in the foot if the football does bad, because they have a product, right? You can say, oh, we're going to turn it like Leeds United. If we turn it like Leeds United, but the system is in place, all the money's in place and everything with the stadium and all that they could still sell on to someone and make a profit, and then that person.
There's more to sell than just the football club or just the football side of things. Like they have so much more to sell, right? It's property, it's the stadium, there's a lot there.
Someone educate me and for the people in the chat that don't know, how long did that whole Alan Sugar saga take for him? How many years did it take for it to get that bad to where he had to go?
10 years.
How many years?
A couple years.
10.
It got really bad. Well, no,
so how far are we
into
Daniel Levy's disaster? How far do you guys think? 5 years till people got really pissed off with him.
But this is the problem. The fans now are different. The fans have changed.
Different situation.
The fans are nowhere near united like they were before.
It's a massive difference.
We're fucked.
Well, they'll be united. They'll be united if we're in a relegation battle. That's the only way you're going to get fans united, mate. Is when the football is fucking.
Everything is so bad that everybody agrees.
Yeah.
You know, there isn't like a way out, or they did this or they did that to sort of supplement the pain.
In some ways, they've diluted the fan base by expanding it to a global brand the way that they have too. Like when Sugar was forced out, you wouldn't see Tottenham fans in the States that much.
It was very local. It was a very local.
But Cody, but at the same time, you wouldn't have Gattuso trending because social media didn't exist. So and it's the global fan base that
but still, to unite a global fan base on social media, you must know, based on your own experiences there, even just today, that uniting people on social media is not something you can do. You can unite them locally because they've grown up in the same area, they've had similar experiences with the club. You're trying to do that in this situation is quite different.
It's like you said, Brian. It's like you said, the only way to unite fans is by failure of the football on the pitch and by absolute dire.
Everything is so bad that everybody has.
The
to
global
agree.
fan base will be the first ones to go, though. Once the football goes shit. Let's be honest, man. It's not going to be the hardcore loyal fans that have been season ticket holders and they live in this.
I agree, but much of their money is from those global fan bases.
But just, I mean, so that will be the first trickles, man. So if it gets really
it's
shit,
it's a starting point for sure.
Tottenham Hotspur
Sonny gets sold. How much money do we lose? Massive amount of money.
Tottenham has got subcultures within the club now. I'll give you an example. There's 2 or 3 really big podcasts. They've got a culture of their own. They've got big movement. You've got a couple of YouTubers that are really big. They've got their own movement. You've got fans that literally just support Sonny, like Brian said, who are Spurs fans. So the South Korean fans, if Sonny goes, they'll go.
They go wherever he goes, not to the club.
You've got the United States fan base. You've got the Australian fan base. You've got the legacy fans. You've got the millennial fans. There's so many subcultures.
Don't leave us out of our Canadians out of the fucking thing here.
Canadian fans. You've got so many
North American.
Two of us in this. There's 2 of us
North
in this.
American.
No, there's only one here, Brian. There's only one.
No, Cody's Canadian.
No, he's American.
No, he's
You've
not.
got so many subcultures of fans.
He's American there in a teacup.
You just got so many subculture of fans that it's so difficult to unite.
Canada Day tomorrow,
boys.
They're
so different.
So based off what I'm hearing, and how I'm almost as old as I am. I'm a newer fan. I'm over states.
You're so fucked.
What I've been hearing basically is the only way. The only way for us to be united is a relegation battle. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, things got to go to shit. Things got to go to shit pretty bad so that we're
there's 2 scenarios for me. There's 2 scenarios in which Enoch sell, and they're not good. Really, it's not going to be something that the fans have much of an effect on. But if things between the club and the fans become toxic to the point that they fear the value is going to plummet, then it would be possible that they would sell out of panic. And then the other thing is, if somebody comes along and gives them an offer that they can't refuse. And I'm almost reticent for someone to come along and buy this club at the value that it's currently at, because that is not how a smart billionaire goes about doing their business. None of the clubs,
not common, not
common at all. You know, Manchester City, Chelsea, you know, the 2 examples of the super clubs there that have been, you know,
corrupt billionaires who either
doping financially since they took over.
Owned by
those were not expensive clubs.
I'll take one
at the time. You know, Chelsea.
I wouldn't take one at all. I'm disgusted by it. I would never. Not
See,
me.
again,
it's disgusting.
That there alone, Brian's opinion, his ethical principles.
Yes, different positions.
There's a split.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do you unite fans? There's so many subcultures within this. See, this is.
You're telling me if let's theoretically say if Bezos comes in and throws all of his play money at us, you wouldn't take that just because it was gifted to us. But other clubs have been gifted.
You just said Jeff Bezos, which is I think you know that it's different than state money run by an oil conglomerate that have let me finish that have some human rights issues that I think I struggle with. Now, I'm sure that Bezos probably has some of those with Amazon as well to some extent.
Any billionaire,
and to be fair, I would struggle with it. I would, like, honestly, across the board. There's some I'd struggle more than others.
So
but I would struggle with it. I would.
Brian, it's got to be someone who's not a billionaire that basically needs to own the club.
I don't believe.
I don't know what I would say.
I actually,
okay, let me say this.
Even Joe Louis is one of the worst ones as well.
For sure,
he steals money from people.
There's no
he
right
doesn't even
way
invest in the team.
I actually,
right way.
There isn't a right way, unfortunately.
So it's kind of like the devil you know to the devil you don't know.
For sure. And I thought Spurs, despite our ownership and what had happened with Pochettino and the growth of the club in those moments, that we were doing it the right way, despite being owned by a billionaire who wasn't necessarily backing the club by just chucking money at it. He was letting the Levy, and this was my own delusion, I admit it, was letting Levy run the club. And he was doing a good job by investing in the right places when it came to the training ground, bringing in a really, really good manager who ended up getting us the furthest we've been in who knows how many years. That I could proudly say Spurs right now are a club that I can be proud of. Like that they've done, despite being owned by a billionaire. The billionaire, like I said, isn't controlling everything. The ownership by Enoch does. Still, I just said it was delusional, so don't laugh at me. So
he's right. You don't know why I'm laughing.
Well, I'm in the middle of saying something and you laugh, so I'm gonna assume you're laughing at what I just said.
Because of the comment from William McKenzie.
Well, I'm not looking at the comments while I'm talking. So
I was.
Okay, all right. So my point is that
everyone just jumps on me, man. I'm like a fucking punching bag. I swear to God.
Well, don't feel sorry for yourself. Somebody's in the middle of. Yeah, there you go. Somebody's in the middle of saying something and you laugh. It's hard not to think that you're probably laughing at the person saying the thing that you're saying. So it makes sense when it comes to.
Don't do that.
It's communication.
Carry on.
There you go. My point is that I don't know what I would do. I don't know that I would be happy one way or the other who took over the club and did the things that I think that where football is right now is a really bad place. I would include that with Qatar World Cup that's coming up. And many of the other situations that are happening with human rights. We're in a fucked up scenario across the board with ownership, with UEFA, with what was going to be the Super League. All of these other things are a complete mess. I struggle with it from a humanitarian perspective and from an ethical perspective. I think we should, as people, question these things and determine whether or not they're as valuable as we think they are, based on just it being a sport and us getting a wank out of it on a Saturday because our team won. So that's just where I'm at. I know it's a bit of a rant, but
if your team
I struggle with it.
What's the right way to do it?
Can you repeat? Can you drink 10 beers and repeat that?
I didn't say I have a solution, mate. I didn't say that I know what's right or wrong. I just know that how I'm going to respond to it. And if it comes down to what's going to happen with Spurs, if somebody comes in that's an oil baron or that is like worse than the situation we're already in, and there's some things that demonstrably true about these people who own the things that they own, and they're killing people for the sake of their own money, I'm going to have a problem with it because I have fucking morals. Okay, so that's my position. I'll make my own decision. I'm not saying you should make the same decision. You're welcome to do whatever the fuck you want, but that's where I'm at. I've had this discussion on Bobby's channel when it came to what's going on with the World Cup. I'm not watching the World Cup in Qatar. I'm not watching it. I've said this now. I'll say it over and over again on any fucking channel. I think if you are, you're irresponsible. That's my position. It doesn't mean I'm going to dislike you. Just that's my fucking position. And I would do that with my club as well. And if it comes down to it, despite me loving Tottenham Hotspur, if they make those decisions because money over people, money over humanity, I'll move on. I'll do something else. I got other things in my life.
Then, Brian, you need to stop watching football.
Yeah, well, no, Brian,
I fucking might. I love it. I'll just go on and play it. I'll just go and play it.
Football nowadays is run by these type of people.
Danny.
I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it. I struggle with it, obviously.
No, but Brian, right? I want to advise you to not watch a show called Dirty Money on Netflix. Have you seen that?
I have seen it, yeah.
Yeah. So man.
I'm well aware of the situation.
Right, but you know yourself that you can no longer.
I know that I'm a hypocrite. I know that I'm struggling with this. I know that many people are. That this situation, when it comes to money and sport generally, not just football, it's across the board, is massively problematic, and it's something that I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. I love the fucking game. I've been playing it since I was 5 years old. I'm almost 47. You know, it is my life. Football has been my life forever. Yeah. But this situation that we're in just across the board with sport, I'm struggling with it. I'm just talking about it. That's all. And
I'm
I'll make a decision on my own, and I don't expect everybody to agree with me. But I'll you won't see me for a while if that's what.
Yeah, but you know, all I was just saying is that you know that you can no longer live in the 21st century without having some sort of problem with the product that you're using.
Absolutely.
So like, it just feels like such an insurmountable task, I suppose, to be a fan of this big game that. I don't know. Maybe Tottenham Canada meeting.
Brian, can I ask you a question?
No, but let me just say that. Let me just say this quickly. Let me just say this, and then ask me the question. It's often why I end up still doing it anyway, because I just like it so much. So, despite the things that I'm now saying that I'm against, I make bad decisions. Right? Oh, poor Stell feeling sorry for himself again. Danny, what did you want to say?
So the question is, right. So there's two questions. So first of all, do you own an iPhone?
Yeah,
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I'm a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah. Okay,
We're all hypocrites, man.
I know we all are, right?
Because
that's how we have to live nowadays.
I look at the fucking thing and I'm like, oh fuck,
exactly.
like it's not easy.
All these mega billionaire companies and whatever they are, Samsung, whoever, they're all the same, right?
Yeah.
And now the other thing is, so if one of these type of people came in and Tottenham won the Champions League and won the Premier League, would you be happy?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Again, I'm not.
I know. I'm not arguing anything.
I'm a hypocrite, like every other fucking person.
We all are.
I'm struggling with it. Is all I'm saying, guys. I'm struggling with it.
You want to be sold the pretty product of having pretty football and winning trophies, mate. That's how you're going to be happy. So you don't see the horrible shit in the background.
Yeah, you try to avoid it because it's easier, right? Like I get it. I know there's people in the comments saying I'm fucking whatever, blah blah blah. This is just a thought process that I have gone through as a human. I just look at things. I see other people suffering and I don't like it, and it's affected by or because of the thing that I support, and so I'm like, what the fuck, man? I don't want to see that. That's fucked up. So I try to figure out what can I do. I know that Brian, it's not. I'm failing at it, but I'm trying to make it a conversation. As well. Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, you know what? That's so admirable of you to be saying all that stuff.
It's not admirable. It's not fucking admirable.
Openly no, but you know what? I'm not a hypocrite because I know all that shit and I still love it. Give me the tears. It feeds me. It's what I drink. Yeah. Give me those tears from that little German girl.
That doesn't make you a hypocrite. It just makes you an asshole. That's all. That's fine. And I'm fine with that, Cody. I'd hang it with you anyway, even if you're an asshole. But I disagree with a ton of people. People will like have their fucking opinion on what I think. I don't care. Like I just have an opinion.
But a couple things here real quick. Since we're
I don't have an
all
excuse,
hypocrites,
Tommy. Fuck you. Sorry.
Since we're all hypocrites, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And
yes,
make some money for the.
I'm on the show and I don't subscribe. That's why I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, Ginty's a hypocrite. He comes on the show, doesn't subscribe.
You're disgraceful, Ginty. Fuck off, Ginty.
He's a member, though. He is a member.
I'm a member, mate.
Will, kick him out. Kick him out.
How do I, Matty Hayes?
He's part of Williams Celts. Here's another Williams Celt member as well as saying, Nuno Espirito Santo, welcome to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Thank you very much, Matt, for the €10. Also, too, Mr. Athelstan, it was so important to him that he had to put it in there twice. Two belligerents were definitely Will in the red corner and Danny in the blue corner. First of all, I don't know how I'm being a belligerent. Danny, maybe. And second of all, I would kick Danny's ass, by the way. It's not Danny. No, I'm just kidding. I love Danny.
You just have to go for the bun, mate. That's what all the power is.
Grab it, hold on to him. Like those little balloons when you're a kid that you just sit there and punch them. Pop, 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 pop.
I just want to say to people who in the comments who are making comments about things, I don't expect any of you guys here or anybody else who's in the comments to think the way I think or to make their decisions based on the same way I make my decisions. I'm just trying to understand the world, and if you agree or disagree, it doesn't mean that I think less or more of you in any way. It's just it's just my position. It's just my position, and I'm just trying to understand.
You're looking at the world, and you're trying to make your opinion on it.
Exactly, man. And I get that people disagree, and it's
I'm going to be belligerent. I'm going to be belligerent again.
Please do.
And this is because as I was eating my beef hot pot, I was listening to what you guys were talking about, and I'm gonna throw another bucket of gasoline onto the fire here. Is some of the it's obviously, look, we as a community here, all of us that are on these streams are obviously have been probably the most vocal leaving out, eating out people in the community that I've seen. right? Our core group of, of us YouTube creators and a lot of the fans that watch our show, obviously, everyone else has been wishy-washy on the fence. We have never, ever been able to get Levy out or Enoch out trending on Twitter, ever.
Yeah.
But no to Nuno was trending within one day for no
Crazy
good reason.
how that happened. That's bizarre.
So I don't necessarily think that this appointment is going to be a gain or a net gain for Daniel Levy. I think there are far more people that are upset. I mean, even half of this chat is split on this appointment. I think you're going to find far more people who are against the appointment of Nuno than are for it. I don't think this is going to be a gain for Daniel Levy. And in the first place, like Ginty had asked me when he first came on the string, and he mentioned it again while I was out, is this going to somehow derail the NFL protests? Mate, we couldn't get people to any of them anyway.
Nobody went to the other ones in the first
What
place.
makes you think people were going to show up in the first place? We can't even get Levy and Enoch out trending on Twitter ever. Not even top 10, much less number 1 in the UK.
Yeah.
Do you think
and
it's like
go to the protest? Do that. I'm going to continue. I will still have Enoch out, Levy out on my thumbnail for every Q&A show that I do, just like I always have. Right?
Will,
it's always going to be there.
That's because the fan base is split when it comes to the owner still. And the perfect explanation of that is when Brian was talking and I laughed, there was a comment that said, I don't want an owner like Chelsea. I don't want us to become like Chelsea. Do you know how many fans in this club have the same thinking? They don't want us to become like Chelsea. I personally couldn't give a shit anymore because football has changed so much now that the sport is driven by money and very good decision making with that money. And unless you've got an ambitious owner, like a Chelsea owner or a Man City owner, it's so damn hard. It's not impossible.
Or you win the lottery like Leicester,
Correct. It's not impossible.
Some luck involved, certainly, yeah.
But would I rather be Leicester or Chelsea? I'll take Chelsea all day long. That's me. That's me.
Same for me.
I take Chelsea's owner over the Man City's ownership, but they're both corrupt. But
there's so many fans.
I get it.
But there's so many fans, Brian. But there's so many fans, and Will, and everyone. Sorry, but there's so many fans that will defend the running of this club under Daniel Levy because it's financially shrewd as a business, and they want that to be forever protected because for them that is just as important as on-field success.
Right, but I don't think that the appointment of Nuno helps that cause, though. I think it actually worsens it. I think that a lot of those people who were that are buying into this Spurs DNA BS.
Which is
because what I want the club's DNA to be is not to play
winning,
fancy champagne proper football. I want to win.
But then
you have all these fans though that let me finish. There are all these fans though that are. I've heard it today several times. I've had it in comments of my video earlier today and yesterday, and every day that I do a video on Nuno is that it's going to be the worst appointment ever. We're going to be so boring to watch. It's going to be dribble. It's going to be this, that, and the other thing. Look, if we win, I don't care. Right? I don't care if our managers or our owner is Donald Trump himself. If we are winning football matches, I don't care. Right? Sports to me is not a political statement. Right? I can do that on my own. I have other venues where I can discuss and debate my political opinions and beliefs.
But isn't it when the people who run the sports organizations support countries that are killing people for the sake of the sport itself? Is that not problematic?
You can still say it, but I'm saying is I can still watch the World Cup and still protest and stand up against that type of behavior.
Okay, that's fair.
The two are
just asking a question.
Connected, but like for me, it's like even here in the U.S. we have this thing here, especially with the far right or right of this whole "Made in America" thing.
It's
right?
far right. Let's be honest.
I own a business. I'm a veteran. I serve my country. I did all of those things, right? I manufacture my goods in China. Why? Because in order to offer the best product at the most reasonable price to my consumers, that's the only place I can do it. I don't have the capital to open my own factory and manufacture it myself. So what I can either charge twice as much, which in this state of economy, I already have a hard time selling my product at the price point that it's listed at. Even though it's twice the quality for what it would cost if I were to have it manufactured in the U.S. And I still have people that will come to me and say, like, where's it made? oh, I'm an American and I'm a veteran and all this stuff, and it's a veteran-run company. But where's it made? China. I'm not buying it. Even though China gets like 1% of the margin that I get off of the rods, right? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous that because a tiny piece of that goes to a country that you may not necessarily like, that you then therefore, boycott something that
it's a slippery slope,
support.
Essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like you're talking about one thing can lead to the other, and things can get ugly because of that. And
Which is
what
life.
it is a fallacy. And it is what I'm doing to some extent. I admit that, and I said it from the beginning. So the slippery slope is it's an inevitability. Like I think that's the hardest thing about making decisions in the world we live in now, especially with globalization and all the different things that are connected.
Well,
it's hard to say. Like
Adidas is made in Indonesia, so I mean, it's not like
of course. There's slave fucking labor everywhere. Sorry, I'm sweating, but yeah, there's slave labor everywhere, and inevitably, if you buy gear. If you buy anything electronic, you're buying into it.
Anything with gold in it, which is basically anything electronic, you're evicting the environment and poor countries in South America. I mean, it's all, where do you draw the line in your sand? It's all relative. It's all
it's personal, right? It's personal choice, and you make the decision, and you don't, if you're smart, you don't judge other people on it because they are going to make their own choice. And I'm still down with that. All of my positions aren't like expecting other people to think the way I think.
Just do what you got to do. There's certain things that I
won't
buy.
You just try to figure out the world. That's all.
I mean, there are certain things that I won't buy.
30 years ago, supporting Tottenham, we didn't give a shit about any of this stuff.
Yeah, but it's 30 years ago. Why would you? The world's changed completely. I mean,
the world's made everything, politics, everything. It's right in your fucking face.
Yeah,
Some
the
things never
access
change,
to information
Some
you
things
have
never
is completely
change.
different.
Daniel Levy's a prick.
And
I mean,
for
30
people,
years ago,
when I
you-
mention the right, I'm against the left too. I'm a libertarian. I'm in the middle. I'm a centrist. Yeah, just so people know, I'm not picking one side or the other.
I am center left.
Don't mention politics, man. It just causes problems with the comments. It's one of those things. As soon as you even dabble in politics in a conversation on football, there's always someone that's just going to blow it up.
Yeah, but unfortunately, politics is entwined into everything. Like even the trust today, the government getting involved and doing all this other stuff. And I'm not
Just
even
the
going to go into
money,
that comment
isn't
today.
it?
We got to save something for tomorrow night, for crying out loud. But look, I just think that for us,
What does
like
that
we're
mean?
talking, huh?
Sorry, this comment. This is the same as Stelios manager argument. What manager
What?
argument? Backing Nuno is backing Levy. Is that what he means?
No, I think he's talking about like Brian's, not buying this or supporting that or doing that or whatever. But that's his own thing. That's what I'm saying.
Arbitrary
You gotta
lines.
let-
Sorry. That's what GT
you
said.
you got to have your own arbitrary lines, right? Arbitrary lines are great for yourself as an individual. It's when you start trying to proselytize that onto other people that it becomes a problem, right? You can have
Well,
your own.
You have to get back your arguments, and you have to persuade people, not force it by saying it's objective. You have to persuade your argument, man.
It's
To
all
people.
subjective, right?
Yeah.
Can I say, when I'm at work, I'm very different when I'm trying to persuade people to buy from me or to sign up with me or to come to my point of view. What I love about supporting Tottenham is I don't have to play the game because I don't give a shit.
Do your stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so refreshing, and that's why so many people it goes nuts. But I don't mind it because it's the only time you can genuinely just say it as you want. You can't do that at work. You simply
I like
can't.
a good argument.
Well, you're talking about lack of agency, aren't you, man? Because you don't have you have a lack of agency at work because you have responsibilities and you have things to do. But you're being your most authentic when you're Tottenham is your outlet to be your most authentic self.
I get paid to work.
AG asked a really good question.
I pay to support Tottenham.
So he says, "How do we support Nuno and hate Levy? How
can't.
exactly?
You can't.
You can. I'll
Well,
tell
you
how.
say you can't, right? That's your argument, right? Let other people talk. People
So my-
I love Ginty. Just
I'm
shut
going
up.
to tell you.
Shut up.
I'm going to tell you how
Shut
you
the
can.
fuck up.
Right?
Get that comment.
Nuno Espirito Santo is his own individual person. Right? I'm going to judge him based on him. Right? If he comes out in his first press conference, polishing up Daniel Levy's bald head without being asked to by the press, I'm going to hold him. I'm going to say the same things that I said about Ryan Mason about him. If he doesn't, if he keeps his mouth shut, which obviously means that he's not in the mood for it. If things go wrong and he thinks that the club should be backed in a certain way, and the owners don't help him do that for him, that's how. But I still want him to succeed. I want Tottenham Hotspur to succeed on the pitch. I could still be, just because, yes, it does make it harder for, I guess you could say, people who aren't as intellectually honest. I'm not saying not smart enough, but I'm just saying honest enough with themselves to see what's going on with Daniel Levy and what he's doing to the club? To separate those two, right? They connect Tottenham's success with Daniel Levy's achievement.
How, Will? How?
How do we support him?
How do you separate those two?
How do you separate the two?
How do you show your separation? How do you show it?
You continually push Levy out. You continually push with him getting further and further and further and further away from the football, with more of the choice being in Paratici's hands and less of it being in Daniel Levy's hands, to the point where it becomes every single negative thing you blame for Daniel Levy for, and every positive thing you blame everyone else for. That's how.
Can I try and answer this in an analogy? Maybe we'll understand then. Still, you can support Nuno, like just say like the world of football is a school, right? And Levy is the teacher, okay, of the class. You can support Nuno as if he is the kid you take to school. You can say, I want you to do well. I want you to be able to admire the politics of the world that you're going into, and you can hope and they do well and succeed in the grades. But you can still say you want them to be well and hate the teacher that they have, the teacher in charge. Does that make?
No, because the school. No, because the school has chosen to bring that teacher in.
Yeah, but that's not.
But I'm just saying it's because I'm just trying to say.
Can they not make a mistake and get the wrong teacher in, but still agree with the teacher despite it?
They've made 15 mistakes as managers so far.
Right, but you see how
you see how they're separate then because of that.
But what I'm saying is, this is what it is. And Scott, it's not the easy answer is to call for both. Why? Why Levy could leave and Nuno could stay? If this is a problem, people don't like Nuno. They think he's going to be defensive. He's not. You think he's going to be.
Well,
so
I think he's going to be
attaching the two. I know you do stuff, but Scott, he's been very vocal about his opposition to Nuno's appointment for the last 2 weeks now.
He's not a terrible manager.
He thinks he's a terrible manager. He plays super defensive football. The Wolves were a drab to watch, even in the 2 seasons when they finished 7th.
He's not good enough. He's not terrible. Right. He's not terrible.
But what I'm saying is that you're taking your bias and you're tying it to something that somebody already hates in order to invoke an emotional response to get people to be on your side, right? And that's not gonna work with me anyway. It may work with some people, but it's not gonna work.
It's intellectually dishonest, to be honest.
And so people too, they sometimes get offended by these words. Intellectual dishonesty doesn't mean you're not smart. It just means that you're not being genuine in your reason for making
it's manipulative. You're trying to get somebody to agree with you based on something that isn't necessarily true, or that you don't have a reason to think it's true.
But my point is on this thing here is, how do we separate the two of them? It's easy, right? You blame Levy for all the stuff that's his fault, which is everything, right? If this team is successful under Nuno, why? It's because we don't have the players to be successful.
Nope.
Right?
Levy's fault.
Levy's fault. It's not Nuno's fault, right?
Can I just say
the players that don't leave? Nuno's or Levy's fault.
Irish Hotspur saying, let's just end by saying we're all going to back him. No, that's the whole point.
You don't have to back him if you don't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah, you shouldn't be forced to back somebody
Irish is just being positive right now because Irish has missed being positive. He was always the positive guy. He's just missed it. He's just been like, can everybody just be positive for a bit? I've had a good day. Brian, that's all he's saying. I don't agree. Still, I don't agree with it. I'm telling you, that's what he's doing.
And I actually had to message him earlier today, and I was like, "Are you alive, mate? Are you alive?" Because all of this was going down, and I hadn't seen him anywhere. Like you know what I mean? So I was like, I was worried that something had happened to him.
He hopped on with Matty Hayes earlier, and he was smiling. He was touching his hat.
Can I ask you something about?
I'm in a good place right now.
Can I ask something about? I want to ask you a question about positivity because I had this massive debate on Twitter a couple of days ago. And
no, you didn't, Stel. You did not have a massive argument on Twitter.
Positivity.
No, I said debate. You said argument, right? It was a brilliant debate.
It's the same thing, by definition.
No, children argue in a playground. Adults, grown-ups, we debate, right?
That's not true, but okay, go on.
Well, unless you're a kid.
No, right? But anyway, go on.
See, we're having a debate. It's not an argument. Now,
semantics.
The question. Let me get my question out. My question is this, right?
I said go on.
People want to be positive in life, and people like to have a positive outlook. I totally agree with that because working with footballers, we've got this saying: we only do positive. Right? You've always got to stay positive. This is where Mourinho went wrong with a lot of the players at Tottenham, to be honest with you. The whole throwing them under a bus, not managing personalities, okay? You do have to stay positive. But there comes a point where you've got to get critical, and you can't just be positive critical. You've got to lay down some hard, cold truths, which means it will come across negative, and you might be perceived as negative. It's just honesty. At what point do we as a fan base, can we be honest and for it not to be classed as negative? Because that happens a lot, I feel, not just with fans, but in general. So I get someone wanting to be positive. I'm all for that. I think it's mentally good. I think health-wise inside it's good. And I think more times than not, positive thinking leads to positive outcomes. But when you're not in control of the outcome, because you're not the decision maker, at what point is it just like, what are you being positive about? Like, because I look at Tottenham and I struggle to find positives. Yeah. So if we lost 4-0, I could find a positive. At least it wasn't 5-0, right? I found a positive. But we fucking lost 4-0, right? So my question is on positivity. At what point do people, honesty, negativity, I think it gets confused, especially when people talk about Spurs.
I agree, and I don't think that any person who likes to use critical thinking would necessarily say that facts or information supported by evidence would be negative, right? That's just reality, right?
It's reaction to those facts that can be perceived as negative based on emotion and how people respond.
That's an irrational argument.
Yeah, it's not useful.
But Danny has to leave, and actually, we're going to end the stream now because we actually we have to do this again tomorrow night at 9:00. So, we need to save some ammunition.
Who's in charge tomorrow night?
I am.
Oh, it's you. All right. Looking forward to that, buddy. You've done a wonderful job today.
Shinty, are you available tomorrow at 9?
It can be if you need.
9 at 9. 9 at 9.
9 at 9. You want to come on 9 at 9 with us tomorrow night?
Sure. I loved the shit show when it was 9 last time.
All right.
Hey, were you on for the Tottenham Way one? Because we managed that one quite well last week. Did you miss that one?
No, that wasn't there for that one. No.
Oh well,
that one was good. Tomorrow will be better as well.
I'm taking the piss.
I'm going to be a little bit harder, and hopefully my internet.
I was only taking the piss as well. Honestly, I was only.
Yeah, it's fine.
My router reset 4 times in a row. It's pretty weird. Don't know why.
Messed up stuff.
Anyway, guys, outros. We'll let Danny go first because he has to go study. Danny, let people know where they can find you.
Studying will be done tomorrow now, but I just had to come on and say my piece earlier. But anyway, you've
been on for 2 hours, Danny.
I know, mate.
We're gonna leave 2 hours later. I'm gonna fail my exam and I'm gonna blame you fuckers. Is what's gonna happen.
Leave his fault.
I've been doing enough studying. I've just got to keep going away.
You feel good about it. It's positive.
I needed a break, mate. It's been a long week this week.
100%, mate. 100%.
Anyway, love you all. Everyone who hasn't liked and subscribed to this channel, and all the guys here, unbelievable. And just night, everyone. Love you all.
Don't subscribe.
Cheers, Danny. Pleasure, mate.
If you subscribe to this channel, you're supporting Daniel Levy.
That's the logic. That's the fucking false dichotomy right there, dude. That's exactly it. Because you're saying Tottenham Hotspur over and over again on a channel, and people hear it over and over again. You're supporting Daniel Levy.
Daniel Levy gives some content, so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he supported Tottenham Way since the rant. I mean, come on, when Brian Dago's done the rant, he's supporting Daniel Levy right there. It's huge. Yeah, it's huge.
Mm-hmm. Ian, what you got, mate?
Final piece. The reason I was so quiet for the last 15 minutes is because I think after all this debate and talking and conversations about this, that, and the other, is that really it comes down for a catastrophic event for our club and the fans to be united. And the only way I see that happening
so dramatic
is a relegation battle. For if we ever want to go and get glory, which is the Premier League, Champions League, real glory,
join me.
Then we have to get rid of Enoch and Levy, and our fans are split on Enoch and Levy. So to not be split on Enoch and Levy, something nuclear has to happen to us. And I was just depressed there for about 15 minutes. Just kept on thinking about a relegation battle with my club. That's why I was so quiet. So,
great way to end the show there, fella. Nicely done.
Sorry.
It was a great way because it was real. It was genuine.
I know,
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to that man.
I'm trying to make it funny a little bit here, man, Jinty. Come on, loosen up here. I was like, I was like, where? I need my my tissue. I was getting sad there, for fuck's sake.
Still, give me those boxing gloves. I'm going after Ryan.
Yeah. Here we go. Well, you
need to tell Shy that instead of 7-a-side, we need to start holding boxing matches. I think that would be a lot. Get more views. But let me read these 2 super chats real quick, and then we'll go on to Jinty and Still and Brian. Aaron Dub, €5. Thanks, lads. Nice stream for the sublime to the ridiculous and back again. It's always good fun here. Got $10 New Zealand here from William McKenzie, just saying peace. Well, peace to you, and thank you for the tip, my friends.
Peace out.
You know that Aaron Dub? Is that his name? Aaron Dub.
Dove, yeah.
Dove.
Do you know what? Yeah. If you ever read his comments, because he's like on everyone's show.
He's everywhere. I've seen him everywhere.
He's one of the most balanced people that make comments on all the shows. You know, he'd be brilliant to come on one of the shows. He's got such a balanced view on everything.
Yeah. Nobody wants balance, mate. People want a controversy and yelling at each other.
No,
balance is boring.
Mate, I don't mean
I'm
like
kidding,
balance.
Stal. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay, no, I mean like he doesn't sit on the fence balance. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
He'll take a view and he'll be like a few
strong
opinion,
and he backs it up with some.
He's
good
quick
reason.
with it. He's quick, like a few words done. You're like, okay.
Let's invite him on.
Yeah, I think it'd be good.
There he is, right there.
I mean, he goes.
Can you unblock me on Twitter now, please?
That sounds right.
But still, let everybody know where they can find you.
Just come on tomorrow, 7 p.m. Tottenham away. We're doing a special show. We're interviewing Ian Hitman from Wolverhampton Wanderers. We're going to get the 3-year lowdown on Nuno from a Wolves fan who knows Nuno really well. It's going to be a really, really good show. So if you want to know a bit more about Nuno and what to expect and what not to expect and how Wolves fans really feel about Nuno, come and watch the show, Tottenham away, 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Do that. Be there. And Brian,
Yeah, I'm going to promote the same show. Looking forward to checking that out. What Stell and Shire are going to do with some Wolves support to give ourselves a bit of an understanding of what's happening and what we should expect. So, going to be fantastic. And then Brian and I are doing the 2 Brians on Friday. We're going to do a little bit of a rundown on Nuno as well and what we think about Nuno and what we think is also a little bit of what's happened in the Euros in England and their next game. So come check it out.
It's going to be Nuno all week because we're also doing 99 tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Yeah. That was the other one I should have mentioned. Will, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
You're gonna do that though. That's your.
We'll be hosting that here on this channel here, so make sure that you are subscribed. Luckily, with the 2 videos that I've done today, the little short one and this one, we've actually jumped up a decent amount. Not huge, not like we did with Conte news, but it's been a good day from results. And
bit of madness on this channel, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good. That makes a good stream, so to be honest with you.
Does, yeah.
Jinty. Where can we find you? Who are you?
Who am I?
Floating heads. I'm going to keep interrupting you every time you try to talk.
Is that getting philosophical? Who am I? Who is
exactly. Why are you here? Why do I do any of this?
Yeah, exactly. So, no, you can find me with my co-host Anthony doing You Tell Me Football podcast, where we do general football, and I have a Spurs section. We've got some recording coming up soon, so we'll have more content coming out, and we'll have live streams midweek as well. So I think we're planning to do a live stream on just before the Euro final to talk about that match and stuff. If any of you guys want to jump on, that'd be great. And so just get. So there's only one episode at the now, but we're going to get regular on the go now. So yeah, come over and subscribe to catch it first.
Catch it first. And for you guys who don't know, we are doing 9 at 9 tomorrow night. Jinty's going to be on the show. I think I'm going to try to get Mr. K in there. And then is Iggy good for tomorrow night too? So?
Yeah.
So then we should be okay. We may need to have an emergency person jump on tomorrow.
Brian won't be, so. Well, maybe he will. We'll
Ian, do you WhatsApp Ian?
Yeah.
We follow each other on Twitter.
Will Ryan Diggle be on?
Brian Diggle, maybe.
Yeah,
I have his WhatsApp.
I think he will be. I think he starts his new job next week, not this week. So
Ian,
he'll probably
what's your Twitter handle?
It's at lost_Angeles_Ian.
Lost,
like lost, LOS, in lost _.
You made the time.
Espanol. Sorry, Los underscore
Ian. Yeah.
All I got was Los underscore. Oh, Ian. Okay.
Los underscore Angelus underscore Ian.
Is it on your thing? Is it your name or not?
I think I put it in the comments and it's in my name, but I don't know if it's displaying or not.
It's displaying now. Ian at Los underscore Angelus underscore Ian.
Yeah. Someone else took the regular one. I was pissed off.
That makes sense.
And 4 o'clock. That'd be really early for you, man. That's like 1.
It's 1 p.m. Yeah,
1 p.m. your time.
Sorry,
lunchtime.
Ian.
Lunchtime for Ian. Come join us.
Yeah.
Oh, Angeles.
I'm actually golfing tomorrow. So
there you go.
As
Lucky
I
guy.
would
Lucky guy.
love to talk about Spurs.
Well, you could come see
do it on the golf course. Take your phone, hop in for a bit.
All right, Gareth Bale. All right, Gareth Bale, get out of here. Anyway,
what team am I on right now?
Is it Ian Galloway? Ian Galloway.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We get it. LA, golf, Spurs in that order. We get it.
I need a day of peace. Stop thinking about Spurs. Then again, my dad
golf course is not peace, by the way. You know that, Ian. I play golf. It's not peaceful. I mean, it's fun, but it's not peaceful. Well, it depends how much you drink and smoke. But yeah,
4 p.m.
It's a good time.
Cody,
it's a good 4 or 5 hours of a good laugh.
Cody, you'll get priority if you're able.
Get in there, Codes. We haven't had you on yet.
Yeah, that's normally when you're cooking dinner. Let me know on WhatsApp, Cody. We'll let you do. I'll boot Mr. K.
If he can get his tech right, then boot Mr. K.
Can I add one last thing before I go? Right, I just remembered something I said the other day, and I just haven't at all stuck to it tonight, and I should really stick to it. I actually said, "Fucking, I'll talk about hypocrite." I actually said I would make my final decision up on everything. Yeah, I know. I'd actually make up my final mind once the summer transfer window was ended and I knew what players had come in, what players had gone out, and who the manager is. So now I know who the manager is. Now I want to see what happens with the players, and then
got 2 more pieces.
End of August will be my real decision maker. I think that's probably a more sensible answer, isn't it? I don't really do sensible. I'll go with sensible.
It would be sensible. Yeah. I mean, even being sensible is different than reasonable, right? Or rational, right? You can be sensible.
Well, let's not get into this right now, man.
It's important, though.
I guess,
yeah.
but
yeah. But anyway,
it's your show, man. You can talk. It's your show.
Do whatever you want.
Folks, it's 3:15, and my wife already got mad that I came back up here after I ate dinner. So, folks, like the stream. Don't subscribe to the channel. I'm telling you, you don't want to do that. It'll be the biggest mistake of your life if you hit that red button down there that says subscribe. It's red. Don't do it. Don't touch it.
Maddie Hayes, welcome. Did I mention welcome, Nuno? Cheers.
And Maddie Hayes hitting us up with €5 at the end.
Love it, Maddie. Love it, Maddie.
I don't know why you keep doing that. Now I'm gonna have to go with super chat on your next one.
That's why he does it.
No, because I've done it. I've drawn. Trust me, Maddie Hayes. I put him through college. No, I'm just kidding.
Does everyone just like earn super chats and then they give their super chat to someone else?
Back and forth.
Just cycle money.
Yeah.
The exchanging of super chats.
Just like your arguments, mate.
Yeah, circular arguments, circular super chats.
You lot talk so much shit. You know that? That's so much shit.
If it's gray, don't touch it. You don't want to unsubscribe.
That sounds right. He's the chemist. He must know.
So can I touch the button if it's grey?
He must know. He must know.
Fuck.
It's not hot if you touch it. Then there's no need to touch it. Then. But we will be back.
Tomorrow at 4/9.
I normally go at 6. I may go at 6 tomorrow and just do. I'm not going to do the creators corner. I'm just going to do the hour of me and the folks. Probably.
That sounds right. That sounds like a
because I've already done this show tonight, and it's kind of nobody.
We're going to be talking about kind of that.
Well, that and we're already going to be talking about it at 9 anyway, right? So what's the point of doing like 4 hours of the same dribble? I mean, that's kind
100%.
of boring.
100%.
So I will be on tomorrow 6 p.m. GMT time to do my Q&A one-on-one with the comments, and then you guys can argue with me that way without having to jump on. And then
Will, are we clashing with you? I didn't know. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, different time.
Honestly, don't normally stream on Wednesday nights. I only did this because I had a meeting that got canceled, and this happened today, cool. Right? So
I never pay attention to everyone else's streams.
Well, thank you for that. I watch all yours. Thanks. Jesus Christ. No, I'm sorry. But
Jesus
Christ. But I will be doing the Q&A one-on-one with the chat because we missed a lot of chats other than the super chats. But on all of our regular streams, please do know that the super chat is not me begging for hands out. I'm not some beggar on a street corner, right? These shows get busy. That
just helps, man. Just helps for all the work that you got to put into shit.
Right.
You know?
Not only that, right? The guy should get paid for his labors, right? But it also really helps me to focus on the comments because they go flying by, especially when we get in those heated parts. You'll notice the pace of the comments triples.
Especially when Stell talks nonsense. Everybody goes fucking crazy.
Yeah, they just go nuts. They lose it.
Do you know this channel?
Stell, I'm having a laugh,
hands
buddy.
down,
I'm having a laugh.
This channel, hands down, without a question of a doubt, has the longest fucking goodbyes on any channel.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Will
it's
has
like
the longest anything.
Mr.
Like have
K,
you watched him and Cody having
Cody.
a conversation?
What's
Him
that?
and Cody will have a conversation that they'll like about one thing and they'll just
talk for 2 hours.
Go into some other fucking thing. Has nothing to do with the conversation. But we all watch. So
Just-
good
and
for
they're
them.
and they're just saying like 2 hours. Just saying goodbye.
Will's just looking at the
Goodbye.
ding 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 ding. You know,
Well, no, it's for two, and it's the fact that the THFC Ranch show, because it's a different breed, right? You have each show's got its own niche, right? We're the pub talk.
It's pub talk.
We're the pub show. We're the pub show. And speaking of pub shows, I got to go break the seal. So stay strong, stay Spurs, and we will see you tomorrow.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go now.